O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it may be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed up the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Amen. As I said before, we called upon the Minister for the Interior, Honorable Mohammed Muntaka, to appear before this committee of assurances. And clearly, it is a Category A committee. It's akin to public accounts and appointments committee. The mandate is captured in Order 225, and Order 225A. The committee shall pursue the execution of every assurance, promise, or undertaking made to Parliament by ministers, committee chairs, members, and other state functionaries, and report to the House on the fulfillment of the assurances, promises, or undertaken by persons referred to in paragraph A. So the work of this committee is expected to ensure that every promise, every assurance, and every undertaking made by the categories are listed before: ministers of state, all government functionaries, committee chairs, and members of Parliament that are made to Parliament. And the definition of Parliament by our convention is not limited to the chamber. Any committee meeting, any gathering of members of Parliament where Parliament itself has sanctioned, we are making an assurance to Parliament. And it's the duty of this committee to do that. We will be looking at the budget presentations and the assurances that have been made, the state of nation and the assurances that have been made to the people, and all the various assurances that government officials in particular have given to the public. We would ensure that they tell us whether those assurances have been fulfilled or not. We will set up a tracking system where the public will be able to see the assurances made by ministers and government functionaries and whether they have been fulfilled or not. It's all of us together that are expected to build this nation. We can do our part, and when our time is due, we will leave and let those who continue come and continue. The Kwame Nkrumahs are gone. The Buziers are gone. The Rawlinses are gone. The Kufuor time is over. Akufo-Addo time is over. John Mahama's time will be over. And some will continue, and this country will not die. This country will continue. So we will do our part, but we can only do it well. So I want to encourage members to continue to give your part. You'll be judged not by your partisanship, but you'll be judged solely on what you have done for Mother Ghana and whether what you are doing it adds or subtracts to it. Those who are judged fairly and those who are remembered are those who stood for good and who stood for what is right, not because they stood for what their parties were thinking. So as opposition members and as members in government, you will only ask yourself, is this good for Ghana? And if it's good, do it, regardless. If it's not good, don't do it. So at this time, I will allow members to introduce themselves, and then after that, my ranking, who is the member for Ijura, will make some comments, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we can start. I want to thank the media and the general public for coming. We hope that whatever transpires here, please ensure that you report adequately and professionally, and report what you have seen and not your commentary. The difficulty is when you add your own ideas and what you think, you must report only what the person said to the public. If the Honorable Minister reports on recruitment, please report what he said. If he says something about flooding and the number of people who died and what they did, report what he said. If the Honorable Minister is talking about the conduct of police, report exactly what he said. Don't add your commentary to it because it will distort what he said. So, colleagues, my name is Dominic Nitiwo. I am the Member of Parliament for Bimbala. I am also the chairman of this committee. Thank you and welcome.
I am Alhaji Muhammad Bawa Brahima, MP for Ejurasi Chadamasi and the ranking member to the committee.
My name is Kofi Mafo. I'm the Member of Parliament for Achansi in the Eastern Region and a member of the committee.
My name is Mustafa Tanko Amadou, MP for Bia West Constituency and a member of the committee. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. I'm Kukwa Bisio, Member of Parliament for Ahanta West and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Maxwell Kwame Lukuto, the Member of Parliament for South Tong Sogakope, and I'm a member of the committee.
Honorable Alhaji Alasan Mumuni, the Member of Parliament for Salga North Constituency and a member of the committee.
Joseph Akwete Tete, MP for Kunkata Manso, member of this committee.
Andrew Darchiwite, MP for Solatona Kalba, Deputy Ranking for the committee.
Ajia Aisha Salifu, Clerk to the committee.
Thank you. Honorable Member, please. Honorable Minister, introduce yourself and then your staff.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable colleagues, I'm here with my team, but those immediately around me, Madam Frida, who is the head director in charge of migration at the Ministry of Interior. And then I have Dr. Ofe, who is the director in charge of administration at the Ministry of Interior. And then I have Ms. Aye, who is Director of Finance at the Ministry of Interior. I am Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak, the Minister for the Interior. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Honorable Minister, I will hand over to my ranking to make a few words, and then we can begin.
Once again, let me welcome all of us to today's public hearing. Like the chairman said, assurances made to Parliament is assurance made to the people of Ghana. And once we are standing for the people, we need to follow up, to track, to ensure that the assurances that have been made to the people are fulfilled. Let me also put it that this committee is not a witch hunting committee. At least it gives ministers and duty bearers the platform to be able to explain and to bring to the public up to speed as to the various stages of implementations of the assurances that they've made to the public. And for that matter, this is not a witch hunting committee. It's a committee that at least we are ensuring that at least duty bearers come to the level of citizenry to explain to us what the assurance that they've made to us, there are various stages of implementation and what is also left. So I'm appealing to all ministers that at least this is a platform that is supposed to be an educative platform for them to be able to explain to the public. And for that matter, they should always avail themselves to this committee that gives them the platform to be able to explain to the public as to the various stages of implementation of the assurances that they've made to the public. On this note, I'm not going to speak much. I will hand over back to the chairman so that at least we're already behind time so that we can start today's proceedings. Once again, I welcome all of you.
So, the Honorable Minister for the Interior, you have a very important role in this nation. Your ministry, you have a lot of agencies, and if your ministry fails us, this country will be in big trouble. Yes, this country will be in big trouble. So, Honorable Minister, as I said, you have a big role in this country. And as you know, because of parliamentary procedure, you will not be able to answer any question unless you do that under oath. And so I will urge you to rise up, and the clerks go and do that with your team, if your team members will speak. So all of them must rise up and swear and be under oath, so that whatever you say, you will say it under the oath. And the meaning of that is very obvious to you and your team. So please go ahead now.
Kindly say this after me. So you put your name. I,
Mohammed Mubarak Machaka,
solemnly affirm
that
the evidence I shall give before this committee
the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So do I affirm. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, welcome to the Parliamentary Committee. You were a leader in this in Parliament, so obviously this is not new to you. And you take your time, relax, and let's engage the public. Your duty is just to inform the public. So, you know, and we'll be asking you questions that may not have appeared here, but may be of interest to the public. Be as truthful as possible to the people of Ghana. I wish you well, and good luck. Honorable Minister, on exactly a year ago, on the 9th of July, 2025, you appeared in Parliament to answer a question posed by Honorable Reverend John Ntim Fojo, the Member of Parliament for Asin South. It was an urgent question. It was and it's in the hazard. So I'll read a question to you, and you will go ahead and answer the question. Because in your answer, you said, I can assure that we are, and then you continued. The question is, Mr. Speaker, that's the urgent question. Mr. Speaker, I beg to ask the Minister for the Interior what steps the ministry is taking to reclassify Narcotics Control Commission as a security and intelligence agency, given their crucial and sensitive mandate as a drug enforcement agency. Honorable Minister, we want to know, you assure the House of certain steps that you will take, because you said you were taking some steps to do that, and you gave us an assurance. Want to know where you have reached, the updates. Have you been successful? Have you been successful? And what is it that you have done and why you had to do it? Honorable Minister.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. I mean, like you rightly said, for the Ministry of Interior, we know the pivotal role that we play to ensure public safety in our country. So it's without doubt that as we wake up every morning, each and every one of us know the kind of responsibility that is bestowed upon us. And I want to assure the people of Ghana that our country is safe. We are doing all we can from all our agencies and the security agencies and even the non-security agencies to ensure that our country continues to remain safe. Our hope is that every Ghanaian should be able to carry out his or her activities without having to bother himself or herself who is coming after them, whether it's in the day or in the night, whether in the rain or sunshine. So that is our focus, and we'll continue to focus on that and do everything humanly possible to ensure that our country will continue to be safe. So that's a further assurance to the people of our country that our country is safe, and we'll continue to work very hard by the grace of God to ensure that it continues to be safe. To the specific question that was asked, yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to say that everything that we did give assurance has come to fruition, except the leg that has to do with the Constitution, because the constitutional review is not yet done. Mr. Chairman, if you take the most recently passed act from Parliament, Act 1168, that's the new Security and Intelligence Act, Act 1168, you see clearly now the Narcotics Control Commission is part of the national, is part of the almost all the security architecture. I want to also say that whether from the district, from the region, and at the national level, it's already captured adequately there. And then at the constitutional level, we've also made a lot of strides. We wrote to the Constitutional Review Committee, and I don't know if you have a copy of the Constitutional Review Committee's report. You'll see that they have reported that they've reclassified it. So we are just waiting for the constitutional amendment, and it will be firmly there. So far as we are concerned, this promise has been fulfilled. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Minister, thank you. Why do you think that it is necessary to move the commission to, or reclassify it as part of the Security and Intelligence Agency instead of leaving it as a Narcotic Control Commission? Currently, that's what we have. It's a Narcotic Control Commission. It does its work, it's doing that, but you want to move it into the national security architecture by putting as an agency under the Security and Intelligence as part of the National Security and Intelligence Agency, so that we don't just have the normal internal, external, and then the communication, but the narcotics will be part of it. Why do you want to do that?
Well, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. What I recollect is that if you trace the history of our country, the narcotics control used to be part of the police, just as the immigration, and many of them used to be part of the police. So it was subsumed under the role of the police. Like today's CID, others are arguing that the CID has grown so big that why are we not even going to allow it to stand on its own? But we are not there yet. So narcotics issues were dealt with as part of the police. As a country was growing, and we had already promulgated the 1992 Constitution, that did not anticipate that gradually narcotics control will be standing on its own. So when we started the Narcotics Control Commission, it was started as though, yes, it has to be independent, but because the Constitution has not mentioned it, let it be as it is. And Chair, it may interest you to know, since the day that they were created, and especially their act that established them, mandated them to be able to wield arms. So they wield guns, they do search, they do arrest, they are able to, they do intelligence, they do almost all the things that others do, except that they have not been classified as a security agency. So we thought that this was an abnormal, because you can't be authorized by a parliamentary act to wield guns, and yet you are not classified as a security agency. So we took steps to make sure that we normalize this. So yes, currently there's virtually nothing that they don't do. By the grace of God, since we even came in the past 18 months, we've been able to work with the Attorney General's office to give them the prosecutorial powers, so that they can even prosecute their own cases, just as the police do. So today, if there are narcotic issues, they no longer carry it for Attorney General to prosecute on their behalf. The Attorney General graciously, my colleague, Honorable Dominic Ayini, saw the need when we made the argument to train them and designate them and give them the mandate to be able to do that.
So yes, because of the role that they are playing and the work that they are doing, they wield guns, they do intelligence, they do arrests, they do confiscation, they do all the, and now today, they even do prosecutions on their own. That is why we thought that it was even long overdue that this should have happened much, much, much longer. But thank God, never, late but never, but say better late than never. At least now, when you take the Security and Intelligence Act, they are firmly stated. So at the District Security Council, they will sit. At the Regional Security Council, they sit. At all levels, they sit. They are part of the JIC, what we have as our entire arrangement that you are very familiar, Joint Intelligence Committee, they sit there too. So they are fully already working as such. And interestingly, the Director General now is a 2-star general. So it crowns it all. Thank you, Chair.
Director General, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair.
A 2-star general is a very important person in the armed forces.
Thank you very much, sir.
Which ministry is the current supervising ministry for this commission?
Well, Chair, under their own act and our the Ministry of Interior's the EIDA or the EIDA established a ministry. They are firmly under the Ministry of Interior.
All right, thank you. Colleagues, you've heard the minister. He has given the answers. It needs a constitutional amendment to fully operationalize what they are already doing anyway. Though from the operational perspective, it's clear that they have to move to the security and intelligence. They have to reclassify as a security intelligence agency. But clearly now there's a limitation because of the Constitution. He has answered why they should be so, because they are acting as so, they look like that, they act as that, and they must be that. Honorable Minister, is that not the case?
Yes, sir.
And so let's take up some questions for him quickly and go to the next question. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you so much. So, Minister, about the narcotics, you know, we have this issue about the weed, and your recent rampant or arrest and seizure of the items. The general public is aware of the Narcotic Controls Commission Amendment Act of 2023, Act 1100, and the regulations that follow allowing the weed to be farmed. From what we hear in the media reportage, it looks like all kinds of weed can be found. Has there been that conscious effort to educate the public as to what we can farm and what we cannot farm, what grade we cannot farm? Because if you monitor, you realize that they say, we can farm weed. Why are we farming and now they are arresting us? A recent report of, I think, is the US or one country that they said they got over 12 billion by the farming and use of trading in these narcotics. Why are we preventing people from doing their legitimate work? So they say, because it's understood that the law has been passed. Has your ministry taken steps to educate us to know exactly what we can do and what we cannot do? And what do you think with the recent misunderstanding that we hear in the media space? What do you think going forward you have to do to educate us more to understand what you stand for? Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair, I always have this adage that I like quoting. It's very difficult to wake people who are pretending to be sleeping. When somebody is pretending to be sleeping, it's very difficult to wake that person up. And then when you want people to understand something, that depends on their livelihood. It's very difficult for them to understand. So if I can quote the former Vice President of the United States of America, Al Gore, he said, how can they understand when their source of livelihood depends on not understanding? So I addressed the press myself. I didn't even allow the Director General to do it. We did it together. We came up with the educational package.
the sensitization, and we clamored it with a press conference that was addressed by myself to tell Ghanaians which categories of cannabis that can be cultivated. And it is very clear. It is a cannabis that has a THC content of 0.3, not and below, for industrial purposes. And we set out the guideline, what it takes. And Mr. Chair, to interest you, last year, 2025 alone, we did 2,117 engagements, 2,170 community engagements. And we reached out to more than 500,000, even students, in 2025 alone, just to educate people, let them understand the nuances, the challenges that goes with even the use of these drugs and its related consequences. The cultivation, what is it that you can cultivate and all that. All this engagement have been done. So, like I said, if someone wants to take advantage of saying that because now Ghana has legitimized the cultivation of industrial cannabis to cultivate the non-industrial, the simple will tell you that he doesn't understand. But why is it that the person is hiding it? Because in some of the areas that you yourself alluded to, I mean, when they heard our people are coming, they go and hide it in the shrine, thinking that they could use the shrine as a cover. And then when our men enter the shrine with their boot, then they say that we've designated the shrine. And I said, who designated the shrine? The one who went and hid the weed, and the one who went to get the weed. Who has really designated the shrine? If you go and hide arms in the mosque, and then the soldier has to be instructed to go in and get the arms, and truly he goes in and he finds the arms. They say that the soldier has designated the mosque. Who has designated the mosque? It is you who decided to go and hide your weapon, illicit weapon in the mosque that is designating the mosque. So, Chair, I can assure my colleague, yes, we will continue to do the sensitization. We are having a lot of radio programs. Last 2 weeks, we launched, we did the World Drug Day. It was very prominently broadcast, widely covered and all that. But like I said, if somebody is pretending to be sleeping, waking that person up is always difficult. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, Honorable Minister as well, you will realize that my Honorable member immediately shot to this particular question. It's a public interest concern, so we'll come back to it. I think that we'll go back to what we were and take note that this particular thing is of public interest. So this cannabis cultivation and the misunderstanding and whether we'll come back to it. But let's concentrate on this. When we are done with this, we'll come back to this particular thing. At the tail end of your hearing, you should note that this will come back. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Listening to the Honorable Minister, he indeed indicated that the Security and Intelligence Act 1168 mandates the NACOP Control Commission to be part of the national security architecture and the districts. I will want to find out steps that are being taken to expand your presence in the various districts. Because if they are supposed to be part of the DISEX and the RESEX, and you don't have officers in these districts, some of the districts, that's why I say expand. So what steps would the ministry and the commission take to expand, personnel into districts that lacks those personnel?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Your observation is perfect. Currently, we operate in all the 16 regions. All the 16 regions have offices of the Narcotics Control Commission. But unfortunately, out of the 261 MMDAs that we have, the district, municipal, and metropolitan assemblies that we have, we are operating in only 66. 66 out of 261. And you will see that, obviously, the challenge is enormous. But graciously, with the help of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we've been given some window to beef up our numbers. Currently, our number will not warrant us to be able to stretch to all day. And then we'll be supported with some logistics. I mean, in the past 18 months, they have received probably vehicles more than since they were even created. And a lot of logistics have been extended. So we're also in the process of recruiting to augment the number so that it will help us to see how we can cover up all the other over 180 municipalities and districts and metropolitan assemblies. But let me say, it's not something that we can do immediately, because even with what we've been given to recruit now, it will not be able to help us to cover all the 261 districts, MMDAs. But effort will be made to go beyond the 66, and then hoping that into the near future, we'll get another opportunity to recruit, train, and then expand. Our target is that if everything goes well, in the next, 5 to 7 years, we should be able to be everywhere within the country. Let's also remember that some of the areas are more prone, so our focus is more towards that area. So I want to assure you that we are on the path of expansion to cover all the districts, but currently we are only in 66. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I want to find out from the Minister that before the Honorable Member Ntimfojo asked this question, if you yourself or as a ministry, you had any plan to actually classify the Narcotic Control Commission as Security Intelligence Agency before the Honorable Member asked that question, or the whole plan started after the question? I just want to know.
Well, thank you, Chair. In fact, if you look at the answer I responded to the question, it clearly shows that we're already on a path to achieving that. So that was why we're able to give that firm assurance. I mean, like today, when Honorable Momoni asked the question about why are we not in 261 districts, I was careful to say that even with what we are currently doing, we are not sure we'll be able to cover all the 261, but we'll make effort to expand beyond the 66, because we don't want, if we hadn't started and the question came, there was no way we could have given those assurances. But before the question came, we were already way ahead with our plans to ensure that they were properly classified. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. There is a supplementary to this particular question. The same Honorable Reverend John Ntimfojo. Mr. Speaker, considering the fact that given the broken down scanners at the ports, narcotic substances could easily transit our ports, posing a significant risk to our collective fight to ensure zero tolerance to narcotics. When can the ports be installed with effective and running scanners to ensure our ports do not become transit points for narcotics? Thank you. Column 16, Honorable Minister. You did assure the colleagues that as soon as funds are available, you will make sure that we procure them, because it's so important, not only narcotics cases, but for all other cases, such as the ones involving people who are smuggling gold and other things that are not supposed to be smuggled at the ports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was what you said as part of your assurance. Can you elucidate and give us what has happened?
Well, thank you so much. This continues to be a very important and a major challenge to us. And by the grace of God, the Netherlands government came in and tried to support us to acquire one. Remember that we have scanners at the port, except that the type of scanners we call the intuitive scanners. That helps you to see the fine details, so that if someone is even going through it, you can virtually see the intestine. If the person is hiding something, it's what we don't like. That's what we don't have. For the normal scanners, we do. So this intuitive scanner, we got the Netherlands government to assist us to get one for the airport for a start. And we were grateful, but we were there and they sent the money to us. Instead of buying the scanner for us. And in line with our procurement processes, I insisted and told the Director General that, yes, the money has been given to us, but I don't want you to just go out there, say that because you are holding the cash, you are going to just pick it on the shelf. Go through the procurement process so that we can account for the money properly. And that's what has delayed it. My information from the Director General is that we are expecting it this week. That one will be at the airport. But His Excellency, the President, when he visited Singapore, the Singaporean government also did assure us some number of scanners. I'm told that those ones, we are likely to get about 8 of such scanners. That will help us to place some of them at the Tema port, the Takoradi, and some of our other very important entry points like Elubu, Aflao, what do you call it? Our main ones, Elubu, Aflao, Paga, and Hamele, to be able to enhance the fight against narcotics. So, yes, it's resource constrained, but graciously, through the Netherlands government and the Office of the President, we are working to get these ones. And Mr. Chairman, I can assure you that once we have them, our interest is to place them to make the work that we are doing much easier, especially the Narcotics Control Commission. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, our main point of exit, especially to the west, are 3. For the ports, we have 2, Tema and Takrady. And for the airport, is 1. Maybe sometimes you will take Tamale because of the Hajj movements, but essentially 1. For the land, which essentially is West Africa, movement into West Africa, we have so many. In fact, the unapproved routes are more than 200. You know, and I know. But the approved ones, are those that you mentioned. The big ones are less than 10, but there are a lot more that we approve. My focus is to those to the west. That's beyond the sea. That they are the people. That's my focus. As once a while you hear drugs have been arrested in Australia, in America, in this, and from Ghana. Are we saying that we have not secured these 3 points, especially at the airport and then Tema Port?
Mr. Chairman, I can assure you that we have. For example, in Tema, we have what we call the weapon detection system. It's a hand one that was delivered to us by the German government. But because it's a hand one, using it is more difficult because it uses the human discretion a lot. Our men are on the ground, like this Australian thing that you mentioned in passing. The Director General will tell you, even as of yesterday, we were still interrogating a lot of government officials. You have been Minister for Defense, and you know the importance of evidence. It's not everything that I can put out at this stage because we are still investigating and we are still interrogating people. Because there's a lot that are not adding up. You could see that there's some involvement of some people within the system. And we are working at it to try to reach out to as many people as possible that we think might have played one role or the other. Because even if you put all these gadgets, remember that it is going to be operated by human beings. So if the wrong persons are sitting there, you can bring all the gadgets in this world. It will still not be safe. So we have changed our modus operandi, the way we operate, the way we place personnel. I'm sure as former defense, you might have even heard some time back people complaining about the way, the rotation and all those things. All of it is to make sure that we secure our borders. And Mr. Chair, even though you've also been the defense minister before, I want to say that one of the biggest challenges that we have, in my view, is that, like your assertion, can you just focus on Kotoka and Takoradi and Tema? We have 48 legitimate crossing points into our country, 48. And you are right, the illegitimate ones are, I'm now even, because we've intensified the trying to make sure that we secure our borders, We are shocked to realize that the last time I was in Volta region alone, we've identified 102 unapproved routes. But you and I know, if we come to the regions that share borders with our neighbors, it is not only Volta region. We also have Upper East, we have Upper West, we have the Bono, we have Western. So even if Volta region alone, we've been able to identify 102 unapproved routes. You can imagine by the time you go around the others, how many unapproved routes that we have. So if we don't focus on trying to secure even these unapproved routes, what is going to simply happen is that we'll become a transient, they can use us as a transit point. Because people will just simply go to our neighboring countries and use unapproved routes to come in. And then whilst you are focusing on only Europe and America, they'll be busily using our sub-region for the trade. So for us, that's why you see today, we have tried to implement a lot of inland checkpoints, which a lot of Ghanaians complain about. And I want to take this opportunity to make an appeal to them. Our responsibility is to make sure that all of us feel safe. If all of us have to feel safe, all of us have to make some level of sacrifices to be able to contribute to all of our safety. So as we speak, we have, I think, about 63 inland checkpoints. Volta region has 2, but the Sukuma is in Eastern, but it affects them. All we are telling our men, especially the immigration and other security agencies, let's minimize the inconvenience. Let's work more on intelligence. Because the way our porous borders are, even if we decide, and I'm happy you serve as the defense minister, and you know the numbers, even if we decide to put all our men across the unapproved routes, we will not have enough men to be able to. So strategically, we put a point that we know. If you are coming from Bono, you have no any other way but you pass through this point. So I will put a checkpoint there. If you are coming from Volta, there's no way you go without passing through this particular point. So you have the Sukuma, then you have the Sogakope, because if you are coming from the Aflao area, wherever you pass and enter our country, if you have to come to Accra, you have to cross the Sogakope Bridge. So that's why we have those checkpoints there. So these things are strategically placed to help the intelligence community in Ghana to be able to help and protect all of us. So, Chair, I want to assure you that, yes, they are every day trying to stay a step ahead of us, but I can assure you we are working very hard to stay 3 steps ahead of them. And I must thank the Narcotics Control Commission, the Director General and his team, the work that they are doing, sleepless night. We don't underestimate any intelligence that counts, no matter how small it is, we work on it. And thank also the generality of Ghanaians, because 90% of the bust that we've had are not based on just we going out. It's just based on people offering to come forward and give us information. And we do the best that we can to protect them. And believe me, sometimes people get shocked when all of a sudden narcotics control appear to a specific place and they are looking for something specific. And interestingly, Chairman, if you're interested to know, can you imagine that an ambulance was coming and was blowing the siren? And the intelligence was telling that it was not carrying a sick person, but it was carrying a weed. And yet, when we tried to stop it, no, it's ambulance. Said, no, stop. Stop, and lo and behold, it was carrying weed. I mean, people send this, what do you call the bullion vans. They go to offload Bank of Ghana cash into cities, and when they are going, they carry weed. And then they'll be blowing the siren, and we open way for them to go through with their drugs. And based on the intelligence and people informant, we're able to track. And I'm not saying this because maybe he's sitting next to me. I'm just so proud of the general. I mean, the work that he's doing, uncompromising, very firm. No matter who you are, he will just tell you that this one, it is only God and the court that can free you. After ours is to make sure that we prosecute. So, yes, it's not easy, Chair. If I sit here and make it look like it is easy, it is rosy, I'll be lying to the committee. It is very difficult, but they are risking it every day, every night, to make sure that our country is not used as transit point, it is not used as destination point, because we know the devastation that drugs is doing to countries that have relaxed on that. And I can assure you that we'll continue to do that to make sure that not only our ports, but even inland within country, will fight the drug menace to a minimum, to the barest minimum. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister, I'll just ask one more last question and my colleagues can take over. And the Director General will help you when it comes to that. I don't know your level of collaboration with the Navy as well as the Marine Police, because the role of fishermen, fisher folks, is very important when it comes to the fight against narcotics. And the role of speedboats, that is crisscrossing West Africa, is very important. He knows that if he has a Navy, the way people, the movement on the sea is something that they will have to check. So I want to know your collaboration so that we can feel secured on that side. Then when it comes to land, there are many communities that when you go, the bedroom is in Ghana and the hall is in Burkina. Same house. The same house. Literally, what I'm trying to say, the half of the town is in Ghana, the other half is in Burkina, with the border, and some will spend safer and some will spend CD. The same town. The market people, and they don't see, for them, as long as they've been there for thousands of years. So they don't know, they may say they are Ghanaian, they may say they were Togolese or Burkina Bay or Ivory Coast, but the truth of the matter is that they are in there. You don't even know the same town, they are here and they are here. And the next day, they sleep in Ghana and farm in Ivory Coast. Or they sleep in Ivory Coast and farm in Ghana. How do you deal with these two scenarios, Honorable Minister, when you are going to combat narcotics?
Well, I mean, I will let the General Counsel know. One thing I can assure you is that we've been working very closely with our sister agencies like the Navy and the National Intelligence. And that's why I said that, because you've been the defense minister before, you know of the JIC, where they meet weekly to compare notes and cover each other's tracks. So they've been doing a lot of collaboration. So, I mean, and interestingly, because he's the Director General for Narcotics Control Commission is a serving officer, it gives him an additional leverage. He's easily able to reach out to the Chief of Army Staff to say that, sir, we need help, a backup, and they easily give. He easily reached out to the Navy to say that, look, we need support, and because he's a serving officer, they are always, so it's very easy for him to be able to do that. But with regards to the border communities, in fact, that is one of the biggest challenges. If you go to the border communities and you see the number of motorbikes and the young guys, I mean, it is purely the business that they do, the cross-border activities. And you are right. Until the colonial masters came, I mean, the Everman sitting on the side of Togo and the Everman on the side of Ghana, they were cousins, they were brothers, they were sisters. And then they brought this imaginary thing to say that this is Ghana, this is Togo. But what we try to do more is using intelligence and using the same neighborhood communities to assist us, to give leads, to give information about some of the nasty activities or the bad nuts among the people. But frankly speaking, many of them transact genuine business. They wake up every morning, just like those of us in Accra, Kumasi, and the rest of the other cities, genuinely working to earn a living. And in fact, the immigration was even coming up with something. Can we try to have a way of identifying, giving them some kind of identity, those communities, so that in their crossing, because sometimes they cross several times in a day, do they have to be going through the same checks like all others? The immigration is coming out with a mode to be able to help minimize the inconvenience that those in the border towns suffer. So we are calling it that, can we create a bridge instead of create a gate for those border communities? Because in their case, it's a daily thing, but obviously, like where my people say, if it be a men's home, every house has a bad nut. So whilst they are doing this legitimate business, others also take advantage to aid and facilitate
the bad guys in not only drugs, but all other smuggling activities. So the best we are doing there is using intelligence and using the same natives in the town. So, General, I don't know if you want to just...
We want to hear from the General, but General, I know that you've sworn in so many oaths, but you need to do one today. So rise up and they'll swear you in, and then you can go ahead and we'll listen to you.
Kindly say after me.
I, Major General Maxwell Mante,
Swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. So now we can listen to you.
Thank you very much, Chair, and my former minister. I think the premise you laid even answered my question, and the response from my minister did same. We've been collaborating with all other security agencies, the police, the security agencies, immigration, fire, customs, and prisons. Before I came here, I was with the Chief Staff Officer of the Ghana Navy, trying to discuss how they can support us to patrol the marine area, because that is where the country is much exposed. Each day, the traffickers evolve new strategies and try to go ahead of us. They connect and they cooperate amongst themselves as to how to outwit them. And so it is incumbent upon us as an agency fighting narcotics to connect and collaborate with our people. But as my minister said, we base most of our operations on intelligence. The only thing is that Ghanaians now have become a bit, so when they send you intelligence, they demand money. There was a time somebody came to me and said, if I could build him a house, he will help me do a lot. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that. So we continue to work, and I can assure you that, like my minister said, we work diligently, knowing that we have the backing of honorable members and your good self as my former minister. Thank you very much, sir.
So, colleagues, please. Yes, Deputy Ranking, after that we'll go to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, listening to the Minister regarding the porous nature of our entry and exit points and the numerous unapproved routes, I'm tempted to suggest that the committee should be recommending to the ministry to, as a matter of urgency, establish offices in all districts that share boundaries with Togo, Burkina, Ivory Coast, so that we are able to man the checkpoints, and then we are even able to recruit people to do patrols around in order to strengthen our borders and all those things. So that's just what I think I should share with you, Honorable Chair, so we see the way forward.
Well, Mr. Chair, thank you so much. I mean, your suggestion is perfect. Now that, like I said, we will not be able to, even with what we are going to do now, the new hands that we are currently preparing to bring on board, we'll still not be able to reach out to all the 261. Obviously, our focus will be to make sure that we make sure that almost all the districts that have border towns, that are border towns, at least, we'll start with those ones. Even the 66 that we have, a lot of them are focused based on these border towns. But I think it's a good suggestion that is already part of what we are thinking. When the new hands are on board and we are expanding, we'll obviously be expanding towards where it will be most effective in terms of the enforcement that we are carrying. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to find out that the expectation for the installation of the scanners at the airport was 8 weeks. I want to find out from the minister if they've done the installation.
Well, Chair, I think I mentioned this earlier. Our original thought was that when the Netherlands promised us, they were going to buy the scanner and send to us. And lo and behold, they brought us the money within that 8 weeks. But like I said, when they sent it as cash, then I then told that that, look, I don't want us to raise, just go into the market, go through the procurement process. And you know the procurement process in our country, you have to secure PPA, you have to do this and that before you award. That's what has made it take that long. But after the Netherlands government, when they made the promise, they fulfilled it and gave us the money in good time. But unfortunately, because they gave us cash, we had to now go through the procurement, and that's what has delayed it. But we are hearing from the contractor that most likely this week he'll be able to deliver and install. So we'll be following through, and if there's a need for any updates other than what we already have said, we'll let the committee have it. Thank you, Chair.
I have my follow-up. Mr. Chairman, the response that came from the minister earlier on indicated that for Temaports, they are using handheld scanners. That is the narcotic people, that's what they are using to assess or to do the work. But we all know for Temaport, we have scanners, within the import and the export sector. And so the question is, why are the Narcotic Control Commission not using the scanners provided at the port, but rather resort to using handheld scanners? Let me take the minister through the process of import and export.
Unfortunately, if you could just let me say this, because it looks like we did not understand. Maybe you didn't understand what I said. I said that all our port of entries have scanners. But the scanners, when it comes to narcotics and ammunition, you need intrusive scanners, which we do not have adequate. Even the WDS, that's the weapon detection system that we are using in Tema, it is the Commission for Small Arms and Light Weapons that is using it, not the Narcotics Control. But because they are working together, it helps. But what I'm saying is that these scanners that we are talking about, they are the intrusive scanner. I mean, it's like, for lack of better words, the high resolution type that helps you to see the fine details of what is being carried. But for scanners, they do. They have adequate scanners in all our port of entry, and I mentioned that, but it is the intrusive scanner that will help us in the fight against narcotics and weapons. That's proliferation of arms. That is what is calling for this additional intrusive scanner. So if you get maybe what I said right, maybe to help you to ask the right question. Chair, thank you.
Good, thank you. But my question is that, these your men, this Narcotic Control Commission, what is their presence? How many are they within the ports? How fast are they working with the other agencies? Because, for most of the ports, you realize that you have, minimum number of narcotic control personnel. And for that matter, either they delay the process of import or export. But I am asking, because if you have the numbers and you have the technical know-how, I don't think there will be any kind of delays in the process of import or export or clearing from the port. And I am asking you again that these scanners fixed in all the import and export base, are they such that the Narcotic Control Commission can use them and then get an effect I am asking this question because the goods or the substance that left Ghana to Australia went through our port. And if you have the men and the system in place in such a way that, every container that is leaving the shores of Ghana is scanned, and Narcotic Control Commission has a knowledge of every container that has been scanned, then I think it will be difficult, if not because they will just want to neglect their work, it will be difficult for such substance to leave the system without they tracing it. So I'm asking you, if your men, both for narcotic and arms, are well equipped to the level that things that goes out of the port and those that comes in to the port is such that they will be able to know what comes in and goes out, it will be difficult for such narcotic to go out of the system and for arms to come in. This is why this
Honorable Minister, so also be very short, just as colleagues.
Well, I would just want to say that I don't recollect whether maybe the member came a little late. When I was answering this, I said that, yes, they are working as a team, and sometimes I even made reference that Defense Minister might have heard, former Defense Minister might have heard, that in our operational changes in shifting officers and what have you, and I said with respect to the Australia, even yesterday we were interrogating because some of the things that we realized had the involvement of persons within. I didn't want to say, and I said because we are still doing interrogation, I don't want to say, are they from customs, are they from narcotics, are they from small arms, are they from the Gapoha? I don't want to mention any institution, but we are saying that our interrogation and investigation is pointing to some insider, what do you call it, collusion, but we are investigating. So yes, you are right, the kind of work that we are doing at all the entry points, no individual or container or cargo should enter or exit our country without our knowledge. Yes, but when, and I mentioned also, no matter the sophistication that you put at the point of entry, it will be manned by persons. And if those persons decide to compromise the system, you will have periodically some of these things that you see. So be rest assured, like I said, we are doing the best that we can. We check both within and without to ensure that our borders are secured. So be rest assured, our borders are secured. We are doing the best that we can. We'll continue the fight. We'll try to stay 3 steps ahead of them as they try to stay a step ahead of us. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. So please, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Minister, let me first of all commend you and your agencies for the successes you have been able to achieve relative to narcotics. However, we all know that there is quite a number who are able to escape the various security agencies. And they are able to integrate the proceeds of these illicit businesses into the legal financial system. I know there is various mechanisms that your agencies are able to check these illegal proceeds and then able to freeze them. But we hear of the arrest of the substances itself more than accounts being frozen. My question is that, are we able to do more so that this illegal proceeds that they are able to, these drug traffickers are able to integrate into the system, which serves as the motivating factor? Are we able to do more to track and then freeze these various accounts and then prosecute them? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, yes, I want to assure our colleague that, yes, we are doing the best that we can. Some of the things that we've been doing,
for example, Mr. Chair, last year alone, we were able to seize 73 tainted assets. 73. 73. And I mean, the cash frozen in millions. Prosecution is going on. And I want to take this opportunity again to thank the Chief Justice for his support, because we now have a dedicated court for the prosecution of narcotics and narcotics-related offenses. With the help of the Chief Justice, we visited him, myself and the Director General. We make a passionate effort, because we realized that before then, there were a lot of adjournment. They will risk their life, do all this arrest, and then when they get there, the persons are given bail, and then the adjournment just on and on and on. They get so frustrated, it takes too long. But by the grace of God and the help of the Chief Justice, today, we have a dedicated court that we are using, and we are seeing a lot of improvement in terms of the prosecution, to make sure that, yes, because before now, you struggle to do the prosecution to get guilt first. Then you now come back and start on the person's asset. Whilst you are doing the prosecution, the person goes down to change the assets into other people's name. So by the time you are finished, by the time you are done, all the assets are not there. Now we do them concurrently. We freeze and say that these are tainted assets. We freeze them. Once we are prosecuting, we are also working to get the assets, what we call confiscated. And you know, because of the way the law is, for us it's helpful, because once we succeed in prosecution, getting conviction, and then seizure, we enjoy 50% of it by law. And now the Narcotics Control Commission, the Director General, he will tell you, we are beginning to have assets like in buildings, because we've done this seizure. So yes, it is on. It's not easy. Still, now one of the things that we realize that having succeeded in getting a high court dedicated for us for the prosecution, now they run to appeals court. And sometimes they go, before we realize, the appeals court turn the judgment at the high court. So we are now back to the Chief Justice to try and see whether we can create a special appeal court for the narcotics. Because you see, it's a specialized area. So judges need to really understand the modus operandi. Other than that, if you look at it on the surface, even me myself, sometimes they come and I'll call the general and say, but this one, the person is just going his way. Why are you trying to frustrate the person? They say, the person is on Interpol. We track the person moved from Netherlands, from there to this place. In a day, the person did that. They do all those tracking. So if you don't understand, if you are not within that environment, on the lay software, you just see that, they're trying to abuse the person's right. But believe me, like I said, not because he's sitting here, almost 99% of the persons that they've fixed their eyes on, they've succeeded in proving their case that, yes, the persons are involved. So, yes, the court was one of the challenges, but believe me, with the help of the Chief Justice, we are overcoming it. And I want to assure you that with the weight at which they are working now, and the kind of successes that they are chalking in prosecution, it is going to make it very difficult for people to run away with this tainted asset. Thank you, Chair.
So, colleagues, we will have 2 more plus ranking, and then we'll go to the next question. Okay, so you are the last for this one.
Thank
Honorable,
you, Chair.
the public is taking a lot of interest in your presence here. So, prepare yourself. This gun matter you issued, some of the public people are looking for information from you. So remember that I will ask you a question about it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Honorable Minister, I've listened to you, and I'm happy with the high, intelligence level that you are placing to ensure that the drugs don't come. But we have the low ones. That is the schools. Now, I want to ask, what modus operandi, what have you put in place to ensure that these drugs that go to the school? The other time we listened to the Minister for Education and was, bemoaning the fact that even some students now in schools sell weeds.
it is not only the weeds, we have all other drugs that are making them behave in some unfathomable behavior, coming up with some behaviors. Mr. Minister, what have you put in place to ensure that we keep those menaces down there?
Thank you very much. I mean, in an earlier answer to your question, I stated that in our outreach, which was about 2,117 for 2025, majority of them were in the school environment. And we reached out to precisely over 500,000 students last year alone, trying to tell them and let them understand the consequences of drug and drug-related issues. You are right, it's not only weed, but also the synthetic drugs, the opioid, like the tramadol and the others. And we are working closely with our partners, the Ministry of Education, and that was why you saw what the minister did, because we were told that GES are giving instructions. You could not dismiss a student, you could not punish a student, you could not suspend a student, you could not all do that. And I told the minister that if they allow it and people could go onto their school and sell drugs and still cannot be sacked, then I don't know what we are turning our school into. And that was why the minister issued that directive to GES that they should be able to punish and dismiss such students. Additionally, we also realize that it is not, we don't do this only with enforcement. We also combine it with treatment. Because sometimes people really need help. Because the person just jump into it through friends, and now parents and families are struggling with rehabilitation. It's just too unfortunate that as a country, we ourselves do not have a single rehabilitation center. But we are using 30 rehabilitation centers across the country, and they are largely faith-based and civil society organizations, NGOs, where some of them will charge us some minimal fees to assist parents and their wards who want to get out of addiction and addiction challenges. So yes, those things are there, but we are also working towards trying to get one for the state, where the state will have its own rehabilitation center. Additionally, one of the things that we tried to do to help students, to scare students, was to say that, look, now we are developing a policy to cabinet, and if we get cabinet approval, what it means is that you can no longer join any public service unless you do mental and drug tests. And if the drug test proves positive, then you are out. And we started that with the current recruitment exercise that we are doing. And to shock you to know that over 6,000 people got disqualified only because they were on drugs or had mental issues. So we are starting, and then we believe that when students realize that this could be a huge impediment to me getting into employment and going into the public service, it will help people to scare people to stay away. So yes, it's a combination of factors. We are not only using enforcement. In the case of the students, we are using more. Set up drug awareness club in schools, and we support them a lot with our drug education unit from the Narcotics Control Commission. So a combination of factors that we are doing. But our biggest effort is to get the source. Because if you don't get the source and you block the big guys, all these tiny ones who are using it, they will come looking for it, they will not even find it. So that is the kind of combination that we are using. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister, I want to, I think that because of what you raised, some people have one or two questions to ask you. Yes. About this, your drug testing and the figures.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, thank you. Honorable Minister, I just wanted to ask, we're talking about recruitment and people not going through as a result of drugs and all that test. What I want to know is, these people that didn't go through because they detected drugs, were they actually informed? Because as a member of parliament, you get people coming to you saying that, oh, I didn't go through and I didn't know why I was rejected, I don't know why, and they keep chasing for you to do something about it. So were they actually told that because of this reason, you are not going through, and then you better go and change your life or something. Thank you.
Well, in fact, I remember it's here when we were discussing the argument. Let's send them the results. And then I remember, the recent recruitment, we had, I think, about 1,300 or so that were on HIV. And then they said, can you imagine sending somebody a resource, they're telling the person that you have HIV? That's not the procedure. The person has to go through some orientation. So one of the things that we did was simply to say that when you get disqualified, you are given a contact to reach out if you are interested in knowing the details. Then when you call, then they assist you to let you know. Because interestingly, some of the things that we realize are treatable. So people need to know and then also get treatment so that subsequent recruitment they could join. So you need to know it's of interest for every person that got disqualified to be interested in knowing what was the cause, so that at least you'll be able to, those that you can treat, hepatitis B, if you have cardiac issues, maybe you've had some major surgery, drug, mental, and all that. A lot of it, some of them, I believe, you would help you be able to get out of it, especially those who had mental issues. People may not even know that they are having mental issues. But these are things that are easily treatable. So we encourage everybody to try and reach out. Don't just say because you've been discovered, you are no longer interested. Be interested, because it may be something minor, it may be something major, whichever it is. If you get to know, it will be of great interest to them. But the reason why we didn't send the results directly was that we don't want the shock. Even based on the WHO guideline, there are certain ailments, you just don't throw it on the person's face that, oh, you have hepatitis B, you have HIV, you have that. So that was why we didn't send the results directly.
Honorable Minister, how many people did you test in all? Because there are two things you mentioned. For the drug and mental, there were 6,000 people that were affected. And for the HIV, 1,300. How many people did you test in all to get these figures? Because that's scary.
Well, there were over 100,000.
Okay.
Remember those who qualified the aptitude test to, they were over 100,000 who went through the test.
Okay, so
Honorable Minister, all these people have been contacted, the ones with the HIV and drug issues, they've actually been called to come in for an advice or to tell them what to do next.
Well, the challenge is that we were not to call. We provided contact for people to call who were interested in knowing why they failed. Because they could come and demand the resource, and we are obliged to give them. But we can't send it to you on the phone.
Honorable Minister, our members are very much interested in this, so indulge them for another 5 minutes. Because during my time, there were quite a couple of people who had HIV. We called them, counseled them, and told them. It's important you do that. Because trust me, if he's a boy, he may have a girlfriend. And if he's a girl, he may have a boyfriend. And if they are not aware, trust me, the next time this figure will jump to 10,000 or 20,000. So you have to find a way of ensuring them so that they can treat themselves, because getting AIDS, HIV is not the same as getting AIDS. And if the person is having HIV now, the person can live a normal life by taking the drugs. It's not like before where it is a death sentence. No. If the person has the HIV and it has not yet developed into AIDS, and the person continues to take the drugs, the person would actually live a normal life, can give birth, normal life. It will come a time the person, if continues, cannot even infect people. But if you don't inform them, first, they will spread it, and secondly, they will die early, because they will develop into AIDS and die early. So please, find a way of ensuring this. It's huge. I don't know the regions, but it's huge. It's scary.
Well, Chair, this is a very useful advice. I can assure you that we noted it, and then, especially those with the HIV, we'll discuss to see. Well, yes, you are right. That's public health issue. We were focusing more on the security But this is something that we should not gloss over because it could lead to many innocent people getting it. So advice well taken, and I assure you that, especially those with the HIV, we'll try and see what we can do. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, just you were talking about those with HIV. I will, however, appeal to you that you should consider, letting those who have failed because of the mental and drug tests also know that's a result of the drug. That's why they are not being considered. They will go and tell their colleagues that it's because of that they were not considered. So maybe by the next recruitment, the numbers might come down.
Well, the reason I was laughing is that a colleague in Parliament came to me and then said that, his woman organizer's son, the woman organizer came and she was screaming, how can this day, and then they discover my son and this thing. Then he was worried. He even tried calling me around that time. I didn't pick, then she left. When she was leaving, then his own guy said, this is son, everybody knows that he smokes weed, and they are doing drug tests. The guy failed the drug, so why is he worrying? But you are right. One of the challenges that we have, maybe I need to get my colleague, the health minister, so that we try to do this together. Because we are inundated with so much on our plate. So it's like this is a public health thing. Adding it to your cap aggravators, but it's important that people are able to do this and get to know why that's why we thought that maybe if we provide a contact and we made a team available during that period who could call and get to know. But like you said, people could be like, once they discover me, I'm not interested, and the person may not come. Meanwhile, the ailment the person is carrying is a public health risk that could affect others. So we'll relook at it and see what we can do, even if it means partnering the Minister of Health to do it. Why not? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Minister, I know you are a well-experienced senior man in this House, and the committee will thank you so much for attending upon the committee's call. And also, I will advise you as a senior member to be mindful of ambiguity, because it looks like, for security reasons, you are giving a lot of information out, which it shouldn't be so. So if you can make your questions, your answers snappy, because it's the same people who will use it against you eventually. So please, you can keep some as a security man and give us the basic one. Okay. Again, about HIV, I think it will be prudent, or it will be more important or necessary for you to segregate those with HIV, the HIV patient. You segregate them or you isolate them from general public, because it will spread. And to avoid spreading it, because some of us are vulnerable. Maybe you never know. So,
Honorable Minister, that you don't have to answer.
You segregate them from general public. But my question is about Narcotic Control Commission, Act 1019, which was amended to amended Bill 2023. The workers or the staff who earns 3,000 to 6,000, which is annually 36,000 to 72,000, I think it's woefully inadequate, because people working for security services and the risk involved, and I don't know whether they are with guns or any kind of weapon, and if they are with weapon, what kind of weapon can they handle, and who trained them? That's my question. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you can answer the last question.
Well, I want to thank my colleague for, I just want an oath that to speak truth to the committee. So, but you are right. Myself, anytime I'm called, I always tell the defense minister why sometimes I don't like talking, because you have so much information and you need to be very discreet about which one should go out and which one should not go out. So that's why sometimes you try to avoid talking to the media. But when you meet the committee like this and you decide to do it before the public eyes, it restricts me because I'm just one oath to be truthful to you. So holding information from you is like contempt of parliament. But if it was an indoor, it helps to talk freely. But now you have the cameras and they are doing it live. So anything, even if you cough, it's going around the world.
Honorable Minister,
So,
we rest assured that
yes.
if you had veered into national security issues, I would have stopped you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So you haven't veered, you continue
Yes.
with your thing. It was
So-
important for you to inform the public, especially this HIV and mental
Yes.
thing. It's very important. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to assure my colleague we'll keep doing the best that we can. The substantial question that you asked, Honorable Jab, the substantial question, because you asked so many questions, the chairman said I shouldn't worry so much about answering some of them. But the last one that you mentioned, no, that's not the one. That one, I don't think. It's against their human rights. That's stigmatization, which we are trying to avoid. They need help. They don't need stigmatization. They don't need to be stigmatized because they have this element. Because like the chairman said, they can always be assisted. The last one that you asked had to do with their salary. I think that it is something that we've been battling with because they also have what we call the non-salary related allowances that we try to support them. We've been battling with it, but you know, our country is not that rich country. And that's why I always tell them that we are eternally grateful for the sacrifices that they are making. Because if I look at some of the work that some of them do, frankly speaking, having been a member of parliament over these 2 decades, even if you are going to pay me 5 times the salary of a member of parliament to do the work they are doing, I don't think I will want to do it. But they are sacrificing with those meaner salaries to do all those things, risk their life, the life of their families and all that. So we are eternally grateful. But the issue of the salary rationalization is something that this government has started to try and see what we can do so that we don't disadvantage them. But remember, they have something that I always say helps them. At least you get to a point you retire on the salary, even though it may not be big. Yours, maybe as Honorable Jab, is big, but when you exit Parliament, it truncates. He sits here, he retires, he continues to enjoy the same salary till he dies. I mean, so it's a kind of balancing act. So because they retire on it, all finance ministers are very careful what level do you take them, because anything you put them on, they will go with it till death. So they always try to strike a neat balance. So the rationalization is ongoing, and I want to believe that we'll continue to prioritize their welfare, because in the case of their welfare, it's not only the salary. So many other things goes with it. So if you can enhance all the other things around them and make life, a bit comfortable for them, they are happy with that. So that rationalization is on, and I want to assure you that government will continue to prioritize their welfare because they continue to risk their life. Thank you, Chair.
All right. So last question.
It was just a concern I wanted to put across because of the submission Minister made with regards to the medicals that have been considered. You see, this is public. And so if we narrow ourselves to the HIV, the mental, and the narcotics, a number of people who were disqualified would just think that they were disqualified based on these 3. So if you can say that there were other considerations so that other people will know that, because others with hepatitis B would have been disqualified and other illnesses. So I just wanted to make that point so that all those who were disqualified would not think that they were either mentally or the HIV or narcotics. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair, he's perfectly right, because the consideration were about, 18 or so, including even flat foot. When people went for medicals, they check how flat, even though you might have skipped their body selection, you come and they will check flat foot, and they say that no, because of you, this is your flat foot, it will not be healthy for you. You have large scars on you, so that when you wear boots or uniform for long, it can create problem for you. You've had some major surgery in the past, and the skull is showing. They will use all those. So it's a whole elaborate thing. So, in fact, some of them, I was even arguing with that. I said, I thought this one there is minor. They said, no, sir. I mean, it's not as minor as you think, because if the person goes into training and the training is extensive, the person could lose his life. I mean, sometimes they look at BP, and I said, but this BP level there is not bad. So, no, with intensive training, it can trigger so many things. So it's a whole broad thing. You are right. I mean, over 18 items that they were looking at. So it's not just drug, mental, and HIV. I mean, like you write, hepatitis B, and all that. It's a long list of things that they were looking for. Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
All right, so we'll go to, thank you very much. We'll go to the next set of questions. My ranking will lead the discussion on that.
Honourable Minister, we need you to update us on the answers you gave when Mr. Frank Asiedu Bekwin, MPP member for Suhum, on the 9th of July, asked the question whether, as to the state of the interception of an alleged massive haul of counterfeit US dollars, Ghana cedis notes, and suspected gold bars hidden in the 20-feet containers at a warehouse in Sapeman on the 9th of March 2025. And this is found on column 27 of the Hansard. So, can you update us as to the current status of investigation?
Well, thank you, Chair. Chair, yes, rightly so. You know, one of the things that we do from the security agencies, if we bust foreign currency, it's something we'll have to hand over to Bank of Ghana. If we bust gold, we hand it over to Gold Board. Unfortunately for us, the lead person in this, the real owner, had escaped. But those that were arrested are still being prosecuted. And the Bank of Ghana also told us that when they picked those foreign currency, they were also fake. So they have since destroyed them. So, but the prosecution is ongoing. And I know the subsequent one will have been about the names. Because some of the kingpins have still not been, I mean, some of them will put them on stop list, hoping that any day that they try to re-enter the country, we'll get them. We still believe that it's not prudent to put the names of those that are in hand, because we've still not been able to get all of them. But the prosecutions are ongoing. Thank you, Chair.
I think that he's lumped the answer to even the follow-up one. So I think that's what the minister has done. Minister, so counterfeit gold, the gold was, the US dollars were counterfeit. Means, as you said, they were fake. Is that right?
Yes, according to, what do you call it, Bank of Ghana.
But the Ghana cedi and the gold, they were real?
Yes, for the gold, like I said, we had to hand it over to Gold Board, and they'll go through their board and then properly confiscate it to the state.
Do you have any information as to whether it was real gold or it was also fake?
Mr. Chairman, like I said, usually because when we hand it over to them, for me, I believe that this is a state agency. We don't follow up, because once we hand it over to them, they will deal with it based on the law. I can try and get further and better particulars.
I'm asking because these are exhibits you use to prosecute the people. So obviously you will have to know. Your team will have to know whether they were real or it was fake. Otherwise, how are you going to prosecute them? Secondly, how much Ghana cedi are we talking about?
Well, Chair, the prosecution is done by the BNI, the Bureau of National Investigation, with the Attorney General's Department. If these fine details are required, why not? I'll be able to get it for you, because the prosecution is on.
Honorable Minister, I think you need to, it will come to haunt you if you don't give the details to the people of Ghana, particularly on this operation that was done. The amount of money, the amount of gold that was seized, where it is, what has happened to it, the amount of CDs that was sold, where is it, what has happened to it, and then whether it is real or counterfeit US dollars. The people of Ghana will really want to know.
I mean, you are right, because when I say that when we acquire gold, we give it to Ghana Gold Board. Based on the law, when they confiscate and they take it, the agency, if they finish the prosecution and they succeed in confiscating it, the agency that leads, they get a share and they will transfer it to them. The state absorbs the rest of it. So usually I always tell the agencies, until the prosecution is done, I don't go doing the nitty-gritty, but once the prosecution is secured, I'll be informed that, on this case, we've secured judgment, and based on the judgment, maybe Narcotics Control Commission is going to have that, or BNI is going to have this share and that. And because the prosecution is on, I don't normally interfere, but if there's a require for some update, why not? I can always furnish the committee.
Yes, please. Deputy Rank and then you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, Minister, it's over a year now that the incident happened. Today's date is 9th. The Honorable Member asked the question on the 9th of July. So today's date is 7th. And so just almost a year. And we are still not done with the investigation. And also, I heard you indicate that the counterfeit USD have been destroyed. Is that the case? If that's the case, we are not yet done with the investigation. Why do we destroy that? Because what will be your evidence? Thank you.
Well, that's what Bank of Ghana tells us. And you see, when we talk about the prosecution, I know the former defense minister will tell you, sometimes for those of us who are handling the security, that's where we get frustrated. Where you think that this is like ABC, you think that if it was going to go to the village chief, it wouldn't take an hour for resolution to be done. But when it comes to court, it can travel sometimes for years. But our challenge is that we cannot be going to the Chief Justice and say that create special courts for us for almost all the things that we are doing. We've succeeded in getting it for Galamsey. We've succeeded in getting it for narcotics. I can't imagine going to the Chief Justice and say, can you create a special court for us for all the work of BNI? Then tomorrow you go and say the work of fire service. Tomorrow the work of police. It will become something. It will be like an absurdity. But believe me, honorable colleague, cases in court can take a long time. Sometimes it can drag for unnecessarily long. But that's the legal system that we have, and you can only bear with that. So yes, like I said, the matter is still being prosecuted, and they continue to pursue those that have escaped. And anytime the prosecutions are done and we secure judgment, why not? We'll let you have. And I may add this, Chair, and I know you do very well. When you are dealing with people who are dealing with this counterfeit other things, remember that these people also are holding a lot of money, meaning that they can hire good lawyers that can necessarily drag a case unnecessarily long. I mean, I'm not saying that they are doing anything wrong, but they try to take advantage of the legal system. One matter, they will take it up to Supreme Court and come back, and then take another matter up to Supreme Court and go back. So they can be doing a lot of front and back on the issue. So when it comes to prosecution, for every person who is working within the security space, that's one of the biggest frustrations that we go through. But that's what we have, so we have to bear with it. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Minister, it is the case that we have apprehended some people and they are facing prosecution. Are you willing to share with us details of those people? Because they have been picked up already. Why do we still have to hide their identities when we need to shame them?
Well, I mean, like I mentioned, because some other persons are on the run. If now I go to mention and I say that, oh, Honorable Chiwete, Honorable Muntaka, all the people who know that they've had something to do with you and I, they will start fleeing further away. So that's why we don't mention the name. Because if you mention the name, remember that sometimes you can arrest someone for a particular case. In the interrogation, he talks about other crimes that have been committed. That's not even related to the one that you arrested. And I'll give you a typical example. I mean, this queen mother that was murdered in Atibobo. The arrest that was done was in Swedro. That has nothing to do with the Atibobo case. But during interrogation, that came up. And that leads to another path of chasing some other persons to prosecute. So the more you put the person's name out, when you've not gotten all the accomplices, you are just messing yourself, because then everyone who had done one crime or another with him or her will start running away, and then it makes your work difficult. That's why sometimes you insist, no matter what, we say, once we are not done, we've not been able to close to say that, no, now we have all those that we need. We don't want to put the names out, because putting the names out will compromise the investigation and the work that the security people are doing. Thank you, Chair.
So do you think we should still hope that you'll be able to get the other corporates?
Well, that's our hope, and that's why I told you that we normally will put people on stop lists. So sometimes someone will tell you that, oh, me, I travel, oh, I've been out of this country for like 5 years. When I came at the airport, then they arrested me. He committed a crime long ago. He himself had forgotten. He didn't know that he's being watched and he's still being wanted. And you know, sometimes what people do is that when they commit crime and they finally manage to escape and run away, and they do not heard the case being mentioned on radio or TV or in the media, they assume that, oh, they will just lie low. After some time, the matter will die. But sometimes they go and put it on the, what do you call it, Interpol. If it's on Interpol, then they'll be looking for that person everywhere the person is in the world. Sometimes they put the person on the stop list, meaning that any time such a person is coming back to Ghana, he's of interest. So even the immigration will not know why you are on the stop list. So when they arrest you at the airport at the first instance, they will just say that, oh no, Narcotics Control Commission is looking for you, or the BNI is looking for you, or the CID is looking for you. You insist, you arrest me, you are not telling me why. They, the immigration themselves, will not be able to tell you why you are being looked for. But they've only been giving information that we are looking for Honorable Muntaka. Any day you see him, please make sure that you hand him over to us. So Muntaka's name will be on the system that's person of interest. So you may be away for 10 years. The day you arrive, they say that, you have something to answer with police CID. It is when you arrive at the CID, then now they'll go and bring the reason why you were put on the stop list. So you don't put those names out. Other than that, it will be very difficult for the security people to work effectively. Thank you, Chair.
Is that the case?
Those we got are facing prosecution.
Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, Minister, I'm looking at page 8 of your response to the committee, the last bulletin, which stated that all the SBs were secured and subjected to forensic testings, the results of which confirm their fraudulent nature. So I want to find out from you whether the gold too was found to be fraudulent. Once you said you handed it over to Gold Board.
Well, like I said, this was being handled by the BNI, and that's the information that they gave. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister, so when that news came out, because I was privileged, where I sat out as a privileged person, I was laughing in my head because I knew where it would end. But I think there's some people who are boasting that we have done this. I was just laughing. In 2017, we got national security to raid that area because we suspected this same scheme was going on. They had gold. At that time, they said that they had a lot of Gaddafi's money stored in there. It was all fraudulent. In 2023, and in fact, they duped a Nigerian businessman of millions of dollars because they had assured him the amount of money that was sitting down there. You can ask Kandapa, Honorable. He will tell you the full story. We raided the place, nothing, all fraudulent. In 2023, we got, you can ask the outgone National Security Coordinator. I got him to raid the same area again because we had gotten intelligence that people had gotten gold. In fact, we even sent spies to go and check in the area, and you could see the containers. When they saw things that looked like gold and dollars, it was all fake. All fake. And they claim there's a warehouse around Wija area there. And that's where they go and do. They were using it to dupe people. And we're looking for the people to arrest. The funny thing is the real faces will never show their face. The real people, they will never show their face. A criminal gang. So you have to crack that criminal gang that is behind it. That's why I asked you that you need to inform the people of Ghana. It is the reason I asked you, because we raided those two places, this same place twice. And we all along, we wanted to arrest the criminal gang behind it. But you see, because of human greed, the people who are dealing with at that time were not even willing to give you the people, because they believed that they will get money from them. They believed it, that they were going to get millions of dollars. So when you want to arrest those people, they are very smart. The only person who you know is the person they have duped, or the person they intend to dupe. And he has lost millions of cedis, millions of dollars. I can tell you that the Nigerian businessman, he lost a lot of millions of dollars. I'll mention the figure to you, it's scary, but they took all that money from him. So that's why I said that I'm not surprised that your last paragraph that my ranking read, this is the result that came out. But still, let's know the end result. Let the people of Ghana know the end result of what happened. It will help all of us.
Well, thank you so much, Chair. I will continue to pursue it. And like you rightly said, and you remember in some of my earlier answer to your question, I said that if we don't underestimate any intelligence that is given us. And sometimes, like the Director General himself said, someone came to say that you should build him a house for him to give him information. So the Hausa people have some saying that if you don't learn to buy the lies, you won't get the truth to also buy. So you must then learn to buy some of the lies so that you can get the truth to buy along the line. So we'll do the best that we can. But you are right. Sometimes it's very frustrating. But we'll keep soldiering on. Thank you so much, Chair.
Yes, please, you are the last, and then we'll go to the next question, set of questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, looking at your answer, you said that the prime suspect had escaped before the security personnel arrived at the scene. In most cases, these prime suspects always escape before the team arrives there. Isn't it a worry, or shouldn't it give us, an indication that even the team that is going there might be some pre-information to those suspects? Because you have gathered information, you've gathered intelligence that these people do operate here. It wasn't just, one time. You have, done lots of investigations. Then on the day of the swoop, most often, if you go to these Galamsey sites, etc., most often the prime suspects are not, arrested. Mr. Minister, what can we do about this?
Well, I must say that it's one of the biggest challenges that we have, and usually you can only deal with this through intel. And there have been a number of times that, I know they will tell me, oh, we are going to strike maybe within the next 2 days. Then 3 days after, they said, oh, we have to change it because we believe that there's a leak and we have to work on the leak. Because it's a human institution, sometimes you cannot run away from such a thing. But what I can tell you is that even within the intelligence community, they are also mindful of that. And they always try to sometimes police the policeman. So they put people in front, they put others behind, they put, sometimes it goes up to 3 layers, just to make sure that they are able to deal with it. There have been instances that they will put people to say, go and deal with this, knowing that they are people who've been given information. Then they'll set up another team to go. And sometimes they'll go and see that they are partying together. Then they arrest them together with this thing. But because it's within the intelligence, you won't hear that one. But they've been happening. If Dana was to tell you, there are instances that we had to
immediately arrest some of our own, because you just realize that they are also playing parts in the problem. Like I said, like every house, you always have badness. But believe me, majority of the people are up to the task, except that periodically, once a while, you get this leak. And I mean, is it last year, November, when this thing, is it from the Netherlands, only for it to realize that some other sister security agency was part of those who were rather aiding. He's here. He arrested the person, and then we quickly reported to their unit that, look, this your officer has been part of those who've been assisting, because when the thing was coming, they came through him. And he will always make sure that it will come when he is on duty, so that he facilitates it. And now he's facing prosecution, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it happens, but it's not something that is rampant. But once in a while it happens, but they have a way of dealing with it. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister, thank you. We'll go to the next set of questions, but it's just one question. But there are one question and two supplementary. And you will be discharged after that. After this question, we'll do some public interest questions.
I have one.
And then we'll discharge. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back. We had some small disruption. Sorry about that. So, Honorable Minister, Honorable Frank Asiedu Bequin asked a question on the same 9th. He asked the Minister for Interior to provide an update on arrest made on the 4th of March 2025 on the Cape Coast to Accra Highway in respect of some substances alleged to be illicit drugs. You are well aware of that arrest that was made. The figures that were mentioned were in excess of 300 million cedis, the street worth of it. Mr. Minister, he followed up with a supplementary and said that Honorable Nyindam was asking if the evidence of the destruction, is it possible that you can provide evidence of the destruction or the people that witnessed that destruction? So you indeed informed Parliament at some point that there was some destruction of some of these drugs, and they wanted evidence. So they want to know what has happened, then the evidence. And the last supplementary is he wants to find out from the minister if it will please him to make available to us a copy of the court orders for the destruction of the safe substance. I think that along the line you mentioned that the court ordered it, and they wanted to find out if you have a copy of the court orders. So 1, we need an update. Then 2, if you've indeed destroyed it, what's the evidence? And 3, if your court is the one that ordered it, do you have the court evidence? So these are the 3 questions. It's 1 question, but 3 in 1. Honorable Minister.
Well, thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm sure the pen drive that was added to the committee, this shows all the evidence. It shows the video of the destruction, because we can't destroy any drug without the court order, and which we secured, and we've provided the pen drive. I hope that maybe, if you mind, you can play it, or if you played it to the committee, that has been done already. The substantive case is one that is being prosecuted,
The last adjourned date was 30th April, and they were to reappear 29th June. Unfortunately, 29th June was the day of the flood, so they are now working to get a new court date. So the prosecution is ongoing, and we want to assure you that once we secure prosecution, we can update you on that. Thank you.
Yes, you have given a pictorial evidence, Exhibit A, and then also the court order on as Exhibit B. And I hope that the clerks will have it. It's in the video form. All right. Honorable Minister, we'll look at the videos. But Honorable Minister, what was the street value of these drugs, of the drugs that were seized?
Well, it was in excess of 300 million. It was in excess of $300 million, yeah.
Was it cedis or dollars?
Well, the Director General is reminding me that it's dollars.
That's huge. And you know the number of people who were arrested?
Yeah, there were 3 so far that are currently facing prosecution.
Are they on bail?
Yes, they are on bail. You know, usually we'll keep them, and when we start the court processing, they are made to put surety and all that. Their passports are usually seized, and then the court grants them bail while the case proceeds.
Was the driver and the maid part of those who were arrested?
Yes, please. I'm told that, yes, the driver and the maid were part of those who were arrested.
And some people on the run, or all of them who have been arrested?
Obviously. You know, when it happens that the main kingpins will be far away, but we are pursuing them. And like I said, we use all methods, especially with Interpol. Unless you secure what you call prosecution, you can't get. But for our borders, the stop list and those things, that one is internal, and we're able to deal with that.
Yes, please. Any supplementary questions on this? Okay, Honorable Minister, yes.
I just wanted to find out from the minister whether this response was made before the passage of the Security and Intelligence Act, because I still see BNI in your records, NIB in your records. I don't know whether, because it's like the current act that was passed, it's the same NIB. It has been changed to BNI. So that's just what I wanted to say, because this...
Well, Mr. Chair, if you recollect, we were supposed to have had this meeting some time back, and then it was, by that time we have finished with all the information in hand, so that might be the cause.
Honorable Minister, we will, your questions are how do I say, time for questions. You've done well on that. We will discharge you on the basis of questions, but we will look at the public interest and ask you some questions, few questions on the public interest. I told you that the public is watching, so you are making a lot of headline news. When you go out, you will hear yourself.
No, he's already in the news.
I know, but it's good. You are making positive news. People will sit up, so it's good. So an individual sent me a message. I don't know the person. So obviously, it's just a message. The person has my number, but I don't have his number, his or her number. I don't know whether it's a male or a female. But let me read the question to you. Honorable, hello. I beg to find out now that the minister is before you, what is the procedure after he announced the withdrawal of gun holders' license in Ghana and gave a 90-day window? So far, there is no directive served on the police as to how the new re-registration process will be done. And we have entered day 14 out of the 90 days. Most grateful. Honorable, this is someone who has interest in what you did and is following up, in fact, counting the days for you. And it means the person really knows what he's doing. Because, trust me, for him to be counting and know there's a procedure and that, Honorable Minister, educate the public. What directive did you send? And no, what is it that you sent to the public? And what is the directive? What is the procedure the public will have to follow? How do they follow it? As we see today, are the licensed guns revoked? And how do they reapply? What is the procedure? People want to know that.
Well, let me thank you so much. I want to believe that every gun holder who has legitimately had license knows how to acquire, how he got his permit. And usually it's by application. In fact, after the flood, we realized that a lot of people were affected. So I even gave the Director General CID instruction that let's send messages to all those. A lot of people were in the process of legitimizing their permits. Those who already have passed and they're having the license, after the flood came and we realized that it's affected about 7 regions, and these are most of our major, regions, we decided that with all the inundation, the challenges that we ourselves are facing currently, we should send messages to those who are having legitimate permits to keep it and come up when it is due, that's in January. Those who are in the process should still get in touch with the CID to complete the process by making sure, then we'll make sure that you go through the new regiment that we have put in place. I'm sad to tell you that some of the reasons that we are trying to do this even happened just this weekend. Prominent people are shooting and killing themselves through suicide. I say prominent people. Yes, people that you least expect that in society will naturally kill themselves are doing that. And when they do, and you go, they are using registered firearms. So it's not like the person is using an illegitimate firearm. And you are asking, what method did we use to check that this person was in the right frame? Because the law, if you read the Arms and Ammunition Act, it says that the minister will grant you licenses knowing that you are in the right frame of mind. Right frame of mind, the only way you can ascertain that you are in the right, I can't just, Honorable Chairman, you can't just look at my face and say that, oh, the way I've been talking since morning here, I'm in the right frame of mind. You'll be just assuming. The only way to do that is to do mental tests.
Honorable Minister, yeah. I want specific, very clear, very clear messages to the people of Ghana.
Yeah, so what I'm saying...
Are you saying that if I have a sidearm or a shotgun which the public can register and I have a legitimate license now, my license will expire on 31st of December 2026. Are you saying that I do not need to re-register again and that license is legitimate till 31st of December?
We are saying that yes, and you receive a message from the CID to that effect. Because you see, initially we sent a message, and then we had this flood that has affected 7 regions. We are rational human beings. People are going through a lot of challenges and trauma. Based on what the data that we have, well over 100,000 people are having these challenges. And if you look at the areas that they're having, these are people that have gone through all this trauma. It will not be fair to be adding to their challenges the issue of registration. So I think it is yesterday we said that the CID send messages to all legitimate holders, permit holders. They should keep it to December. Those who are in the process will continue the process by making sure that you go through the vigorous one. But those who are already holding, so now, if Chair, you have a sidearm that you have registered and you've given a license that was supposed to expire 31st, I'm saying that you receive a message that's telling you that keep it until the 31st. Because of the challenges that we are going through, we don't want to compound the challenges of our citizens.
So I'm hoping that by now people should have started receiving the messages to tell them to keep it until the 31st. But knowing that from 31st, you go through the new arrangement where you do the mental, the drug, and the training. But those who are in the process, we are encouraging them to go through the full process to be able to acquire, because you are already going through the process, so you go through the process.
So the new added procedure from those who already have from 1st of January, or before 1st of January, if you really want to have it from 1st of January, is to know that you will be taken through mental testing, drug testing, and training. That's what you are saying.
In fact, another thing came up, Chair, like General, 2-star General. Must you go through training again? As servicemen, must they go through training? We are looking at that because you don't want to create a system where it shows discrimination. But there can be positive discrimination, because if somebody has served in our security services, yes, aforementioned, you can be the former CDS, you could have challenge. You could be the former IGP, you could have a challenge. With regards to drug, that one, but training, we could exempt some people, but that one, it will be on the need to do training that will ask you to do. Other than that, we'll exempt you. So I just wanted to add this leg.
Honorable Minister, you will have a logistical nightmare, especially on shotguns. Let me give you an example. We have over 2 million shotguns that are in the system.
It's not the 2 million that
I know, but there are a lot that are genuinely registered. How are you going to train all these people when you don't even have shooting ranges to train them?
You know, Honorable Minister, that's the excuse that people use. We train our men and women in the service in our training schools across the country. Currently, as we say, the police has 25 regions. 25 police regions. And I keep saying that, look, how many trainings do we have? We have all these training where we go and train large number of persons at a go. If you want to do the right thing, you get a way to do it. If you want to have excuses not to do the right thing, you always have reason not to do the right thing, because you can find the reason not to. But you say that you train men and women that come to join our armed forces, that come to join our police, that come out to join our immigration, and use the training schools. Yes, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister,
yes,
add this to your answer, or no, to the answer so that the public will know. If you go to the north, the training school is at Palugu, unless you have opened one in the northern region, or in Savannah, or in Wa. So if I am sitting in Wa West, Honorable Lenchini's constituency, and I have a legitimate shotgun to protect, to go for hunting, and on 1st of 31st, it expires, and I have to register. I have to travel to Borga, Palugu, to do the training.
Not necessarily.
Is that it?
No, because what we are doing currently, we are partnering other private persons to create this so that we certify them and say that, okay, Nchu Shooting Range Company Limited. So we certify and say that you can either go to the police, or go to the immigration, or go to the fire. Fire don't do this thing, or go to Nito Shooting this thing. And when you do any of them, it will be legitimized. So we are in the process of bringing a lot of our partners who are already into the business, to create this, to make it much easier for people to do. And like I said, Chair, we can continue to have excuse why we should not do the right thing. But remember, go and check the arms and ammunition Act, the issue of holding sidearm is not a right. It's clearly stated in the law. So it's not that it's a right that we are taking away from you, and therefore it's a human right issue. I must have it. No. You want to have it. You and I, we collect, our community doesn't have secondary school. We have to travel several miles to go to secondary school, but we wanted to have education. When you and I were going to school, there were only 3 universities in this country.
Honorable Minister.
Cape Coast, Accra, and Kumasi. And because we wanted to have university education, we traveled several miles to have the university education.
Honorable Minister, you see, I kept using the word shotgun. I didn't use sidearm. Not in those questions. I keep using the word shotgun. Is the shotgun part in re-registration, the training part of the shotgun? I perfectly agree with the sidearm. Because sidearm, a category of people should hold it. You cannot just wake up and be distributing shotguns. People will die. Too many people will die. So I perfectly agree. And I think that it's also good. There's nowhere that people who hold shotguns don't go through regular training. That's why you cannot distribute shotguns to all your police. I can't mention for security reasons the number of police we have in the country or soldiers, so I cannot. But you cannot give all of them shotguns. There are specific groups, sidearms, there are specific groups. But I'm talking of shotguns, the one that the public can buy. So if we have 50 million adults, you can have 50 million pump-action guns. Is that not right? Do you want all of them to go through the training?
The interesting thing is that you and I attend funerals, and we see a number of times the accident in the funeral ground. Someone trying to fire, and then before it runs into the public, and people lose their life, people get injured. In fact, if it comes to even training, I think it is those groups that we must even train. Because they are those who are in the large gathering and firing and hurting and injuring. And sometimes, the most recent one, someone was with a pump action. He fired and then he killed himself.
All right, my colleagues will want to ask, but my last question I just want to ask you, I'll come back to the other question that I said, but I'll let my colleagues ask. When you go to funerals, as we said, people are holding assault rifles. Are you going to let your men seize those assault rifles on the spot? Assault rifles are totally different from legitimate ones the public can hold, even though some mimic assault rifles. But you can clearly see, let me use the word, for example, AK-47 gun. All right?
In fact, currently the instructions is that even the shotgun are supposed to be seized, because we have said that in this gathering and other, we are engaging the chiefs. We've said that people should stop and let us engage the regional and national House of Chiefs, so that the designated persons that will be asked to do that will go through the training, appreciate what they are holding, and know when to use it and how to use it, so that we avoid the unnecessary accident and injury that we are having during ceremonies and festivals. So currently the instruction is that if they find you, it's not only assault. They are supposed, assault rifles, they are supposed to seize it straight from you. I know enforcement is a challenge, because you see, Chair, we have a challenge that all of us agree is a challenge. But it's like everybody is waiting, who is going to bail the cat? Everybody is saying, where do we start? I say, start from anywhere. The most important is just start. And when you start and you start making the necessary impact, people will see why we should have it. Because you do know better than many of the people around this table. You've been there for 8 years. Our sub-routing is not a joke. If you allow this thing to be easy, used with impunity publicly, very soon our communities will no longer be safe as it is today. So it is for all of us to push back. That's why in the law it's stated that it's not a right that you must have this. So it is not something that you can say, I must necessarily have it. It's not a must. You want to have it, be ready to go through the difficult process of getting it. And we must be able to make it difficult. So we shouldn't make it easy. In fact, the intention is not to make it easy that, oh, I want a sidearm, I can have. I want a pump action, I can have. I want a shotgun, I can have. I just want a hunting gun, I can have. No. When we make it so, then it tells people that, oh, As for Ghana, when you bring it in, it will be bought. And if someone is using the hunting gun and he enjoys using it, the next moment he moves to pump action, and the next he's looking for AK-47 to hold. Let's not make it that easy. Our communities are safe. We don't need to be holding guns for individual protection. We don't. That's why private security organizations are not authorized to hold side and other firearms, even when they've been given licenses to provide man-guard and protect properties. So why should the individual be struggling that I must have it because I want to protect us? You and I, let's be frank with ourselves. The sidearm that you have, can you remember the last time you fired it?
Have I told you that I have a sidearm?
I know. I know. Well, all those who are holding legitimately, the database is there. I can say it. I can't remember the last time I fired it. Even the one that I used to go into farm. I can't remember the last time I fired it. So sometimes it's just a myth that we all just think that we must just have it.
You know, Honorable Minister, a colleague of mine in cabinet at that time said, "Hey, no, I want to have a short gun. Can you, a pistol? You know, when they say shotgun, pistol, I want to have one. Can you help me?" I said, "Well, defense does not issue it. Go to the Minister of Interior, but I want to ask you a single question. Do you have anger issues?" He said, "Hey, that one, I have a lot." I said, "You will kill your wife." I said, "Trust me, you will kill your wife and you go to prison. So please." He said, "Oh, is that right?" I said, "Trust me. When you hold a gun, it speaks. Anybody who talks, before you realize, go and bring it out. I beg you, you will kill your wife. So don't hold it." Anyway, continue.
So, Chair, I just want to say that let us all help to make our country more safer. And the best way to make it safer is that just don't hold it, like you are already saying. Because sometimes you see the circumstances that which people fire it, and it's so bizarre. Someone went to it's a land. I went to Sawan and I met somebody, very decent person, land issues. He got there were some langers who were firing. When he was going to do the give the warning shot, he didn't know how to use it because he forgot that for warning shot it has to be in the sky. He fired on the ground, and then the bullet deflected. A passerby was there. It hit the person, and the person died. And this has landed the person into prison. This is a very decent person. He just didn't know how to use the gun. And you and I know the gun as it is, how to even take the bullet and everything about it, where to even save it in the house so that it's out of the reach of children. You have to be taught how to do it. And people don't know how to do it, and then they are just in a hurry there to buy it. And they don't even know how to use it. So we shouldn't make it just easy. And I want the public to support the Minister of Interior to ensure that it is just not a commodity that people could just walk like you want to buy roasted plantain. You just cross over the street, stop, and then you buy, and then you go. Let's make it difficult. And let's support each other so that we'll continue to keep our community safe. Thank you, Chair.
I will go to him and then come to Kokwa, and then...
Thank you, Mr.
Chair,
Chairman.
I just want to make a plea. Because of the promise that you and I had, I'd agree that
the next 10 minutes will discharge you, don't worry.
By 12:30, now it's 1, so thank you.
But Honorable Minister, your answers should be short.
I'll try.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the minister indicated in his submission that he cannot look at somebody's face, like my face. He cannot look at my face and think that I'm mentally sound to hold a gun. And so it means that there's a reason for conducting, the mental test before they can issue you with a permit. So if that is the case, between now and December, you cannot assess the person's mental capacity by just looking at the person's face. So if, in case that the person who is holding the gun, whose gun needed or needs to be permitted, if you don't do it between now and December, if something happens, and if it so happens that the person's mental capacity is not good enough to hold a gun, what happens? So for me, I think that it is necessary that whatever you need to do as a ministry to make sure that because people's mental capacity need to be tested before they can continue to hold a gun, it is very important that whatever you need to do in order for them to go through the test before they continue to hold the gun is done. From my personal perspective, I think that one must not be compromised in any way. Thank you.
Yes, it's a comment, so please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, Galamsey, I know it falls under the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources, but what I want to find out is what your ministry is doing to help the other minister to fight this menace. The reason is that we have beautiful forest reserves in Ghana, and Ahanta West, to be precise, we have one that actually leads into the sea. That is the only one that leads into the sea. And in the middle of the night, you have buses dropping people from Mali, Niger, and other areas or countries into the forest. So now when you are walking around the forest, it looks greener, but in the inside is a mess, because that is where they actually do the job. Now you find people to go and arrest some of these guys, send them to the police, the immigration, give them 2 days, and then they will be out. Exactly where they started and where they were before we got them. So my question is, please, the immigration officers and our police officers, they fall under your ministry. What are they doing, or what are you doing with them to help our minister, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, to fight this? Because it's looking like they are even involved or they are not helping with this fight.
Well, Mr. Chair, I mean, this is a problem that has bedeviled us, and with the establishment of NIMOS, we're hoping that we're going to have much progress. So last month or so, we decided to change the whole operational team. And within the operational team, we have the national security, we have the police, we have the immigration, all of them, the military and what have you. So those changes have been made. And I also serve as a member of the team, the ministers, because the national security, the lands minister, the attorney general, and some few others, we constitute the committee that is oversighting that. So yes, it's a challenge, but we have assured ourselves that this is something that we need to be doing periodically. So we vow that every 3 months, we meet more frequently, but every month we need to assess the work that they are doing. And depending on the progress that they made, we should not be tired of rotating the officers, because sometimes when you leave one group of people there for long, instead of them dealing with the problem, they become part of the problem. So that's what we are currently doing for now. That's what I will say. Thank you.
Sorry, just a follow-up, please. So does that include, sorry, Minister, police officers that have been in a particular area or Galamsey area for a long time, because then they get used to the area and then they are part of what is happening? Is there something that is being done about their transfers? Like, when you stay at a particular area for a long time and you you be transferred to a different area where there's no Galamsey or something, and just like a reshuffling thing going on?
Yes, I mean, based on the police regulation is of the CI 76, no officer is supposed to stay at one place for more than 7 years. So yes, and then some of them have stayed at one place for too long, and you are right, instead of them being those solving the problem, they become part of the problem because they are so familiar with the community. And instead of using their knowledge of the community to rather help, they now become part of the challenges. And you see that since the current IGP came, a lot of those transfers have been there. But the challenge you have is that you cannot do it, because some people have been there for long. You cannot do all of it at a go. You break the system. So you do it gradually, you allow breathing space, then you continue. So he's been doing it, and I want to assure you that
I'm sure many of those that are around your place that are involved in this, very soon it will be their turn to move to other places. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, you are the last. Okay, you.
Very much,
I'll come to Rankin.
Chairman. Mr. Minister, I know you have in your possession some excavators that were seized. Flooding has come. For some of us, our areas, the MPs would have to, if you come to my constituency, for instance, I have to, even though I'm 2B and is situate in my constituency, and we have about 25 seized excavators there, I will have to go around searching for excavator to do dredging, etc. What plans do you have in respect of these excavators for maybe the districts, municipalities, etc., to make good use of them? And secondly, when are the first batch of applicants going for training?
Okay, Chair. With regards to the excavators, remember, it's not all the excavators that you see parked that have been seized, that have been confiscated to the state yet. Some of them are at court. But we currently have, I think, a little over 80 that have been determined, and it's with the Forestry Commission. And it is that one that, in that meeting, that we agreed that 70 of that should be given to NADMO to distribute across the country for this dredging and other things. This was since last month. But interestingly, one of the things that we realized when now NADMO had to go and pick them, you know, when they go chasing them and they are running, they take the motherboard away. So now you have it standing there as an excavator. You cannot start it and move it. So they are now going through, in fact, yesterday we held a meeting. They are now going through to see how we can get those that have been released to NADMO to be functional so that they can assist in the work. Yes. Thank you, Chair. And then the last one that you were saying, you know, we are almost done with everything with regards to the recruits. In fact, our original target was to get them to go to training by 1st of July. And then the other challenges, a lot that are not had to do with the process, but other things that had to be done, because if they have to go to training, the day they report to the training camp, they have to eat. So all those things are being done. And that is what is holding the day. So now I don't want to announce another date that will fail. Other than he's here, yesterday night we were in a meeting that I kept pushing that, look, 15th is a good time, but it's hinged on those availability of things. So they were even saying that, Minister, why not let us even target end of this month? If those other things that are supposed to be done, that we don't have control over, are done, then we are sure that when they arrive on campus, they are on the training ground, they are not going to starve. So those things are those that we are chasing. Once we get them, believe me, I'm very optimistic by the close of this month, they should be reporting for training. Thank you, Chair.
So you, yeah, that's the question. Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, mine is on flooding. Let me, first of all, solidarize with the victims and also commend His Excellency the President for the action taken so far and your entire team. Honorable Minister, when it comes to the laws of our country, you understand the laws better than some of us. There are a lot of laws governing planning of our country. And if you permit me, I would want to mention just 3 for the benefit of our viewers and listeners. We have the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act 2016, the Act 925. We also have the 2016 Act, Local Government Act 936. And then more importantly, the Ghana Hydrological Authority Act, 2022 Act 1085. Honorable Minister, all these laws is meant to help us protect the society by building our country properly. At the end of the day, I have a simple question, which is, or let me say, I want to find out from you, has any institution been held accountable for negligence if they fail to enforce planning laws that resulted into the recent disaster? Thank you.
Well, Chairman, I believe that this question that you asked me, you have the answer yourself. Because if we were to be holding people accountable, we will not be where we are. But the challenge is that spatial planning is the preserve of the district assembly. Parliament sits here. In fact, if Parliament is going to put up one room here, they are supposed to get permit from the district assembly. Is Parliament doing it? If the ministry is going to put up anything, any of the ministry, you are supposed to take permit. You are supposed to take fire certificate. All those things that we all gloss over it. And the assemblies, I don't know for whatever reasons, they are not also flexing, because if they enforce it, I'm sure it will force all of us to comply. They are not enforcing it. Now we have MMDCs that are not elected, they are appointed. I mean, you appoint Muntaka as the DC for the place. Now you are going to do something, he comes and says that, no, you have to get permits. Instead of you to understand that that is the law, you start threatening him, you start saying all manner of things. Then people start calling the regional chairman, the regional minister. He's making us lose votes. He's going to let us go back to opposition. You do that, and then you go to opposition. Then another one comes. They use the same thing. They go to the opposition. But I keep saying that if we can all be firm to do the right thing, and I'm really very sorry, maybe I'm veering. The chair is here. He and I have been in this house for over 2 decades. He will tell you, doing the right thing comes with a lot of insults and other things, but the majority will be with you, and that's how people stay in this, even this house long. Those who come and they want to do things because they think that some few constituents are making noise about it, believe me, you will be lucky to do a 3rd term, because by the time you start your 3rd term, majority of constituents sees that you are not a honest person. You are just, doing firefighting. You don't have any plan. All you do is that you just listen to the few noise. They will push you out. So it's a challenge that confronts all of us, especially the political class. Remember the regional minister when she was going around doing the demolitions. People, I saw one video. Me, I've invested in NDC. You came, you didn't give me anything. Today, even my property, you are breaking it down. And then we'll see. Next election, and you don't see anybody coming to the support of the regional minister. She's a human being. She's a politician. There's so much noise. People are saying that, hey, she's doing this in our stronghold. She's doing this area, she went, the whole of that area, we won all the ballot box. She begins to feel threatened. But if the very people in that area are cheering her and supporting her, telling her, yes, this will prevent all of us from running into the disaster, I want to believe she will have continued. But the same people, everybody keep quiet. Even the majority who believe that what she's doing is right are quiet and leaving her alone to carry the burden of the few who are making noise and are daring and using video, threatening her and what have you. She said naturally she will begin to slow down. So the whole thing is an attitudinal thing that starts from every one of us. It starts with you, Honorable Mustafa. It starts with me, Honorable Muntaka. It starts with the chairman, Honorable Netiwo. Let's ensure that in our small corners, the right things are being done. Just this morning, before I was coming here, I was talking to the Minister for Lands. Look at the nature, the way Achimota is saving all of us.
People are applying that what on what their great-grandfather, what on what gave it, some portion should be given to them. In my constituency, there's some reserve like that. I just saw that people were felling trees. I called the minister and said, what is this? He's not even aware. And I'm saying that, look, even in the midst of this, people are just going, cutting the forest reserve that are helping the cities. In the name of, we give it, we want portion of it. You want portion of it to do what with it? The reason why we kept it as a reserve, are we saying that it's no longer important? It is. So why are you talking about giving part of it for that you sell and develop what? So it's an attitudinal thing that all of us must wake up to the realization that if we don't support the right thing being done, and it's going to be the business as usual, where all we think about is the next election. Well, I have seen it since President Kufuor. I've been in this house since President Kufuor. When you are doing the things because you don't want to lose the vote, it's the very reason why you go and lose the vote. Thank you, Chair.
All right, Minister, we have just two more, this, and then we'll discharge you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister, I want to ask if there are any shops that sells legitimate or legally firearms in Ghana, and if so, what measures do you put in place before selling someone firearms? And don't you think it will be better for the buyer to go through some mental examination or mental health training before selling the weapon out? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Well, we have armed dealers in Ghana, and they are also licensed. They are licensed by the Ministry of Interior. And the process they go through is very vigorous, because you need to have what they call the magazines, where you keep this. And where they keep them, the CID units, they have a land registry unit within the police CID. What they do is that, so for example, if Honorable Montaka comes to register to be an armed dealer, first we apply to the minister. The minister refers it to the CID and the BNI to do what we call the background check, to check the background of Montaka. What does he do? Is it somebody that will not endanger public if it's allowed to be dealing in arms? When all this has been done, then you now get the certificate to be an armed dealer. Now, when you become an armed dealer, when you are going to import arms into the country to sell, even before you do the importation, you come and apply to the Minister of Interior that I want to apply for this type of arms into the country to sell. You give all their details and everything, even including the ammunitions. When those things are granted, before you now go and import, and when it comes, you now write again that it has arrived. So the CID unit will go and march it into that magazine where they keep it, and you have a padlock, they also have a padlock, so they will lock it. So if you are there and Honorable Nitu says he's coming to buy, they will now inform the CID. They will check that Honorable Nitu have applied to have that gun. They will do the background check on him. Oh, okay, it will not be a threat to public if he's having that gun. Now you can sell it to him. When they say they take all his fingerprint and everything, they now go with you to the magazine, open it, and then take that particular arm to him. Take all the serial numbers and everything. So if you look at what they are doing, we shouldn't have problem if everybody was doing it. With the touch of the button, you should be able to tell who is holding what gun, what is the registration number of that gun, what that gun can do, what that gun cannot do, when the person acquired it, who sold it to that person. All this is there. The challenge we are having is the underdealing, the one that is done on all of us blind side. Because what others do, for example, individually, Honorable Nitu travels to America where they can sell guns openly in the shop. You can just look and go and see, oh, I like this one. Can I see it? You try it and all that and all that. Then when he's coming to Ghana, he will now write to the Minister of Interior saying that because of ABCD, I want to have this sidearm. then the ministry will do background check on him. Oh, he's a high-profile person. I mean, no criminal record, decent person, decent job, he's a member of parliament, former defense minister, is granted. Now he comes, he now we now allow him to bring in the sidearm. Go to the CID, they take the serial numbers, pick his fingerprint, and then return the sidearm to him with the permit or the license. So he keeps it, and every year he renews it. So if you look at the process, yes, it's a bit vigorous, but the record keeping is there, and it's digitalized. You can tell who and who. That's why I'm saying that I've asked that they should send messages to people. So that's why we are saying that in all this process, what we realize that is missing is that when we are giving it to Honorable Muntaka to go, we don't check, yes, he's a decent person, he has a job. I mean, Honorable Nitu is former defense minister, he's still a member of parliament, but we don't check, does he know how to use it? We don't check that one. That's why we are bringing the training. Is he on drugs? We don't check that. Is he in the right is he in the right frame of mind? Because the law says that you should only give it to somebody in the right frame of mind. And I'm saying that I cannot sit and look at the people here and say that, oh, look at Honorable Danjuma, the way he's quiet this morning, it looks like he's not in the right frame of mind. But after Honorable Jab, he's in the right frame. You can't do that. You have to, there should be scientific way of doing it. And when we are doing it, the Director General is here. Narcotics, when it comes to drug tests, we insist that only Narcotics Control Commission will do it. And they are in all the 16 regions. And they are in additional 66 districts. When it comes to mental health, we insist that it should be the Mental Health Authority. And they are everywhere in the region that will do and certify that this person is in the right frame of mind. So if you look at the process that we are, even the addition, it is just to enhance, to make sure that whoever is keeping it is safe for the person to keep it. That's why we are doing what we are doing. But the process currently, I can assure you, those who are dealing with it, if they are doing the right thing, this is the process and where they keep it and where we always get it, the information and who is buying from them. Thank you, Chair.
Uche, you are the last person.
I appreciate you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Minister, I don't know whether when you were responding to the Honorable Lukoto in his question, you talked about this, but just want to find out whether plans are advanced for us to start issuing licenses for the cultivation of the cannabis. And then let me conclude on this, Honorable Chair. Just in respect of the flooding that we spoke about, I was just wondering whether Parliament should show interest in this, so that parliamentary committees that are responsible for some of these sectors, like Western Housing Committee, Rose Committee, committee members should rather visit site and make recommendations, look at buildings, look at structures that are not supposed to be at particular places, and recommend that such buildings should be pulled down, so that it doesn't be like it's the regional minister that is acting. I believe that as parliamentarians, if we make such recommendations, sector ministers or regional ministers will not be held by constituents. I remember as Rose Committee members, we visited Accra just, I think, 2 months ago. We realized that a container was sighted very close to the road and blocking the views of oncoming vehicles. There and then, we told the regional engineer, and we insisted that owners of the containers must be informed to either move the containers away or demolish them. In that case, the regional minister will not be seen as the person asking them to move the container. And so as committees of parliament, we have to take responsibility of some of these things, so that people should see as MPP, NDC members of parliament, we are recommending that this building be demolished. If we go that way, I think it will help us as a country. Thank you.
After Honorable Nitu and I, we've seen this again and again and again. I mean, when he first came, they were in power, we were in opposition. Then, when you're in opposition, you don't want to be seen, in quotes, hurting the public, because you want them to sympathetic and vote for you. When you are in government, you are struggling to do the right thing. Those of your other colleagues who are not part of the executive, no, this your action will make us unpopular and we'll lose the next election. And we've been running that battle again and again. And I don't know, frankly speaking, I don't think it has benefited any of us. Just not to repeat myself, it hasn't benefited any of us. I've been here, President Kufuor, we came, President Murs, and then we went back to opposition after President Mahama, and then President Nanado came. Now we are back. I mean, the same modus operandi, the politicians. Next election, oh no, you lose vote. I mean, who is going to brace it and say that, look, I'll do the right thing and I'll lose the next election? And I can tell you, the person will win the next election easily because people are seeing you doing the right thing, even though they are difficult. But sometimes the courage to do it is a difficulty. Lastly, about the narcotics, yes, the people have applied. The Director General just drew my attention that at least 8 people, 8 people have gotten to the finish line and he's bringing it to me for approval. 8. At least 8 companies have been able to get to the finish line so they can start the legitimate cultivation with all the necessary measures put in place. So yes, the process is on and it's even online. People are able to apply. Yeah, we've been hearing a lot of people saying that, okay, why can't we review? And I said that, look, it's too early. You just start the implementation, less than 1 year, and people are talking about review. Let's start the implementation. Let's go up to maybe a year. Then let's see the real challenges that emerge, that comes out of it. Then we can use that for review. But even before you start implementing, you are talking about review. What kind of review are you going to do? So I hope that those who are interested can be patient. Let's see, now we have this 8. Let's see how the implementation goes. And if there's the need for us to come back to Parliament for some amendment or to change some of the processes, why not? So that at least we can make it an industry that can take care of even those who are illegally doing those weed cultivation that has much, much higher percentage of the THC, so that we can put them into cooperative and assist them. So, Chair, be rest assured, we'll continue to make things easy so that the public safety will be enhanced within our country. Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister, you need to educate the public a lot on this. I know you said over 2,000 engagement, but this TAC of 0.3, you need to engage because currently now a lot of people are ringing after 5, 6, some as much as 10, even some 90. So please educate them. But just the last bit was, I'll thank honorable members. I see that your minister has been sending updates on the flood. What will happen from Minister of Interior. We received text, so thank you very much for doing that. But how many people died in the recent flood? How many people lost their lives? Not died. How many people lost their lives?
Well, I mean, the records that we have, if you recollect, for Central Region, a week before the 29th, that's when they had their biggest disaster, where in Central Region we lost 18 people. And then about 18, and then about 58 houses came down. Obviously, in Central, most of the houses are attached houses. But for the 29th of June, that happened in Accra. The record we have, those who lost their lives are 12 and 7 missing. I was told that yesterday a body was found. So if that was found dead, that means it takes the dead to 13, missing 6. Volta region also had some date before the 29th. And there, the record we have is that 4 people lost their lives. So if anything goes by, if you have to do anything by, that means if you add the 18 in the month of June, you say the 18 plus the 12 or now 13, plus the 4 in Volta region, that takes you to 35 with 6 missing. Or because since morning, I haven't gotten any brief to confirm that 1 has been found. So if that's not confirmed, then you have 7 dead, 7 missing and 34 dead. But in terms of displacement, I mean, it's really massive because Accra alone, those who were displaced were 58,000. But interestingly, Mr. Chairman, I mean, this conversation, someone said so much information, the conversation is never ending. We were trying to house people. We have 3 shelters. The Gender Ministry had a shelter that could take up to about 200 people. We had one at Ashama that can take 1,000 people. We have this bank base that can take 1,000 people. In fact, we were preparing additional mattresses that could give additional places that people, because there were offices that we could use for people. And then we have another one by National Security that can house about 300 people. Chairman, we're going around asking people, come and let's go. And people say, no, just give me the relief item. I have a cousin who is assisting me. I have a niece, I have a brother. People refuse, and we will say that because you are displaced, I'm going to use the military to force you into a bus and go and keep you where you don't want. In fact, the gender ministry, out of panic, one afternoon, went and cooked food because she was told that some people were stranded in Dome. She got there and there was nobody in that church to eat that food. Because people just say, give us the relief, and I can say in confidence, of the 29 municipalities that got affected in Greater Accra, by the close of Saturday, we have given every municipal the relief items. We've covered all the 29. And I have the detailed information. If the committee is interested, I can WhatsApp it to you to show you how many bags of rice we gave, how many blankets, how many mattresses, all the items that were sent to these 29 municipalities. And in these municipalities, the way we distributed the chair was very transparent. I remember I told the regional minister, one of the things that we want is that we want the MP for that area to be there. We want the municipal chief executive for that area to be there. We want our NADMO director to be there so that the three of them will hand over these items. So she made the announcement and the regional minister personally supervised it. And I want to take this opportunity to thank her. I mean, she never had a rest. We were constantly in touch. Some of the time, the distribution goes deep into the night, but she stood her ground. She was there to supervise it. And I want to thank the staff of the NADMO and the security agencies for all the role that they played. Our hope is that, I mean, this should not be happening. And I want to also take the opportunity to thank the Minister of Communication, because I'm working with the Communication Ministry to assist in sending these messages. Now, we've tried to create subcommittees, and one of the subcommittees is what we call the early warning subcommittee, so that we work together, because Hydro sits with Works and Housing, Met sits with Communication, NADMO sits with Interior. So they were all working in that kind of silos. Now we managed to get them, to put them together, and now agree that even when once the rain Met is predicting up to 40% possibility, let us know and let's send the messages to people. But if it is below 40%, that means it's not so much risk. But once it's up to 40%, let us send it. If it doesn't happen, at least people have been told that place your things well or position yourself very well. So we'll continue to do that to protect protect lives and property and ensure that there's public safety. Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister, do find time and space to inform the MPs, because it looks like a lot of the MPs were not aware that they were supposed to be part of the distribution. So inform. Otherwise, your DCs and NDC will not inform them. And just the last one, short one, and let your answer be very short. The committee that is expected to make sure that they clear off the area so that flooding, at least, even if we can prevent it completely, but it will be reduced. Because you and me know that a lot of our gutters are choked. People have built where they are not supposed to build. People have blocked the roads. People have blocked, in fact, people have actually gone to fill up water reserves. They filled, look, all the areas, the dams, they've gone and filled up, and now the tea is so smaller. Then when the water is coming, water will spread. It will find its own level. The committee is expected to have worked with the Western Housing Minister and your minister as part of them and others. When is the committee starting their work? I hear the armed forces are leading. When are the people of Ghana expected to see action?
They've started. Frankly, they started on, I think, was it Thursday? They started, but because the place is really big, and let me admit, we have subcommittees, and we've agreed that when it comes to this mitigation and all that, it will be communicated by the government communication. But it's just the bit I can just say is that the rest of what they've started, and we are making when we came to finance to take the money, we assured them that that component for the mitigation will be led by the 48 engineers. And that's exactly what we are, so that we are not giving to any private person and procurement and all these challenges. So that has started. I'm not to, communicate on the details, but the government communication is supposed to do with the general that we chose to lead this. They will be doing the fine details. But we have about 5 subcommittees. The committees are the mitigation subcommittee. They are those to do the dredgery, try to clear the garbage, the silt, and those things. That's led by the 48 engineers. We have the relief and donation subcommittee that is led by Interior and NADMO in terms of the relief item distribution. We'll have the mitigation, what we call the early warning subcommittee led by the communication minister to ensure that people get timely messages and what have you. And then we'll also have the sanitation and health that is led by the local government minister and the health minister. For the others, the waste that is the filth that is filling our street, the health issues, because once you have flooding, if you are not careful, cholera sets in, typhoid, and other health-related issues. So you see that they are also sending messages reminding people, eat warm food, don't eat cold food, wash your hand, and all that. Use sanitizer as much as possible, and then make sure that you are using what do you call alum and chlorine in the water. If you see the face of the water, it's not very good, and all that. So it's a multi kind of thing that we are doing, but we'll be meeting. Even yesterday, there was that meeting to review, since the flood, where are we? What progress has everybody made? And all of us presented our report, what we've been able to do in the last week. So all this will be communicated, but the mitigation committee have started.
Honourable Minister, a member wants to acknowledge something.
Yes, Honourable Minister, I am only here to express my gratitude to you personally for your intervention. And when the dam spillage occurred in my constituency, I called upon you and you came through, and I want you to know I'm extremely grateful. The people of Wejagbawe are grateful. Save that, I was wondering why you are not a member of the Anti-Flood Task Force Committee.
Honourable Minister, he says, thank you. You did well, and please, at a point, this committee may visit the assurances you made, and if there is a need to get in touch with you to let you know that we'll come and assess whether these assurances are indeed what you have said, we would get you to know. I want to thank you. Our next guest will be the Minister for Foreign Affairs. He was the chair of this particular committee before. I've not yet discharged him. He was the chair of this committee, so that will be our next guest for this. And I hope that he and his people would appear. Even if the minister is not here, the deputy should be here. And you know that Parliament, for example, it is the people, we are the representatives of the people. The people have sent you to go and do work. And when they need you, they will call you to come and account to them. So there is no minister, no ministry that this committee or any other parliamentary will call and you will not appear.
Chair, I hope you are not talking to me.
I'm not talking to you. You are a member of cabinet. You have done well, so I'm not talking to you. But I'm saying that...
So I'm discharged.
You are not yet discharged. Yes. So, Honourable Minister, we have heard you. Again, I think that what you did is good, where you are saying that the MP, the DC, the MMDC, and then the other person, the NADMO director, will work together to ensure that the people get what is due them. So we need the representative of the people, as we already started. We need the representative of the president, that is the MMDC, and then we need the people who in charge of it, which is the people in charge are the NADMO people, so that the 3 groups will do that and distribute it. No one should be left out, and I think you should ensure that that is exactly what it is. We are in times of need, and when people are in times of need, there's no politics, and so we must all put our hands to help so that we can get it. Honourable Minister, I want to thank you very much for calling upon this committee. You are a leader. You were a leader. You are still a leader, and we are very grateful for your presence. As I said, when we need you, we'll call you back. But for now, you are discharged. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.